Gym.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House plays defense on Lisa Brady, Fox News, after the president's reversal on a pardon for Hunter Biden out of concern about political prosecution.
During contentious exchanges with reporters on Air Force One, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre insisted President Biden was not lying when he previously ruled out a pardon for his son Hunter.
He said he came to this decision this weekend, and he said he wrestled with this.
Jean-Pierre says President Biden concluded his son was singled out by raw politics infecting the judicial process.
Because he was the president's son. That's what we saw. And so the president believed enough is enough.
Hunter Biden was scheduled for sentencing this month following convictions on a federal gun charge and tax offenses.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The scope of the pardon spanning a decade, fueling some bipartisan criticism. President-elect Trump calls it abuse after years of House Republicans probing Biden family business dealings. Closing arguments underway at the New York trial of Daniel Penny, the Marine veteran charged with manslaughter in the death of Jordan Neely after putting him in a chokehold on a subway train.
Prosecutors called a total of 35 witnesses, including one of their key witnesses, medical examiner Dr. Cynthia Harris, who testified that Penny's chokehold did indeed kill Neely. Penny's defense team has argued to jurors their client had no time to de-escalate the situation and acted to protect others.
Fox's CB Cotton at State Supreme Court in Lower Manhattan, where protesters gathered outside. Just getting word a former Kansas police detective who failed to appear for the start of his trial today is dead. 71-year-old Roger Golubsky, who's white, was accused of sexually assaulting black women and girls from poor Kansas City neighborhoods. Jury selection was set to begin today in a federal trial on violating civil rights. No word yet on how Golubsky died, but a defense attorney had said he was despondent about media coverage of the case. America is listening to Fox News.
Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. The high only 30 degrees. Tonight, very cold, partly cloudy skies. 14 for the low. Tuesday, sunny and 32. Wednesday, sunny. It's going to be a couple of hours Wednesday afternoon where we warm up to close to 50 degrees. But here comes another cold front, back to deep cold for this time of year, Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
The election is finally over. Now you can get the cash you need. Imagine what you could do with $50,000. Pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or even pay off auto loans. Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. There's no out-of-pocket costs, so call today and make no payments until next year. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
This holiday season, save $30 on the GTA 26 handheld garden pruner. Now just $149.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Offer valid for a limited time. Only at participating dealers while supplies last.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. And if you see the end of his, I assume that you've read his statement, and you look at the end of that statement, and he actually says that in the first line in the last paragraph, and respects the thinking and how the American people will actually see this in his decision making. And I would encourage everyone to read in full the president's statement. I think he lays out his thought process. He lays out how he came to this decision. He came to this decision this weekend. So let's be very clear about that. He says it himself. It's in his voice. He said he came to this decision this weekend. And he said he wrestled with this. And because he believes in the justice system, but he also believes that the war politics infected the process and led to a miscarriage of justice.
Well, it took to December of 2024 for Joe Biden to say, you know what, enough of this lawfare. Free my son. Are you stop acting like you're surprised by this? You're not surprised. Nobody is surprised by this. Are you surprised by this? I said this on X, you can follow me at Annie Frey Show, that I am surprised by neither the lying nor the pardon. He said he wasn't going to pardon his son. Brad, when he said originally that he wasn't going to pardon his son, he was still running for president, correct? I'm pretty sure he was.
Yes, yeah, he was. He definitely was.
So there's a political reason why he said what he said and did what he did. And boy, has the status quo changed quite a bit from the time that he made that initial statement. Here's what I get annoyed with. And this is, I've been off for a week, and I have lived a lot of life in the last week. I'll tell you that. I look at what the general reaction is when there's a news story like this. And there's a lot of things that I think, gosh, guys, we don't need to go, like, we can skip the step where we're surprised that Joe Biden lied about something. This is what he does. Joe Biden, before he became, good grief, almost lovable in his senility, he was not an honest person. Do you remember when he ran for president, the first or second or fifth? I don't remember which time it was, but he had to drop out because he plagiarized a whole bunch of stuff. He had a dream or something. I don't know if that was what. when you look at the history of Joe Biden, he does exactly what he needs to do for his own political benefit. So this is not surprising. And you know that. And there's a difference between being surprised and being rightfully annoyed, mad, frustrated that yet here we are again. When the charges came down for for Hunter Biden, the gun charges in Maryland, Delaware, somewhere up there. Delaware, of all places. When he was found guilty there, we asked the question, will Joe Biden pardon his son? Because obviously any parent in the position to wipe the slate clean for their child, you're going to think that the likelihood of that happening, it's better than 50-50. A lot of what I've seen on social media in the wake of it, a lot of people are saying it really depends on what the crime was. It really depends on what they did. If you're looking at the tax evasion charges, which Hunter Biden pled guilty to, it's not like he went in front of a jury and was found guilty because he said, no, I'm an innocent man. And then he was in a whole lawfare process found guilty of charges that Hunter Biden was obviously innocent of. If that were the case and a pardon came down from your parent, from dad, Merry Christmas, kiddo, unwrap that pardon. If I were going to wrap a pardon up, I would definitely do it in one of those nesting packages. It's a big, It's a big gift, but it's probably like a slip of paper.
All the way down.
Yes.
All the way down, then you get an envelope in the end.
10 boxes. And like you're thinking, oh, yes, it's the huge gifts. And huge gifts are so fun to unwrap, aren't they? But really, you just keep going smaller and smaller and smaller. But inside the smallest box is a pardon. That's still super exciting. That's a nesting box gift for Christmas for sure. If your son murders people, if your son is the illegal immigrant who killed Laken Riley, who was staying at the luxury Roosevelt Hotel on your tax dollars, and your son is that deplorable waste of oxygen human space who came here is a member of Tren de Aragua or affiliated with them, and goes and murders a young girl who's out on a jog on her campus in Georgia, do you pardon them? No, I don't think you do. I think if I'm the parent, I'm repulsed to be associated with that person. These charges, good grief. I think the Second Amendment lobby would potentially argue on the side of Hunter Biden in the first case that he was found guilty. You're probably going to pardon this guy. But then the question comes in, why does the pardon look like the one that Nixon got from Gerald Ford? Why is it double the time of the Watergate pardon? And why does it start in 2014? And why is it for any crimes that any crimes that Hunter Biden committed between 2014? What happened then? Google Burisma and Ukraine. We're going to speak with Hans von Spakovsky, traditionally a Thursday guest on the Annie Frey Show, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and we want the guy who's going to be able to give us the lowdown on what the extent of this pardon means. I mean, is it a blessing of these two particular cases, the one in Delaware, the one that was in California? Southern California was the other jurisdiction.
Yeah.
How do they roll the dice on these jurisdictions from the left? One of the funniest things, total nerd bomber sidebar of election night, was watching the Washington, D.C. vote totals come in, and it was 96% of the people in Washington, D.C. voted for Kamala Harris. And you're like, oh, that's why they chose that jurisdiction for the crimes that they wanted to lawfare against Donald Trump. What is the breadth of this pardon? Is there any possible tentacles that come out of this pardon that could protect the pardoner himself, Joe Biden? I don't know, because I'm not a legal expert, but I have so many questions, and we wanted to get Hans on here to give us the answers to your questions as well. So if you join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, come say hi over there. Vote in today's poll, which I'm going to get to here in a second at the top. It's in the live chat portion. We'll ask Hans von Spakovsky legally what kind of benefits come along with this pardon. Here is what Corinne Jean-Pierre said this was just in August.
Hey, let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No. No. She says no. There's no possibility. The limit does not exist. There's no possibility here where Joe Biden would come in and pardon his son. I think the interesting thing was, I have always said, yes, obviously he will pardon his son. I think that these crimes are pardonable, especially if Joe Biden doesn't win the election. I thought Joe Biden would lose the election. I also said for many, many months, if not years, that Joe Biden would not be the candidate. I thought they waited till the bottom of the ninth in order to make that swap. Thank God they did. And that there would obviously be a pardon for Hunter because he'd be a lame duck. That's what I thought would happen. That's exactly what did happen. The question remains, though, is Joe Biden going to finish this term? 49 days until Donald Trump is inaugurated. We're 49 days left of Joe Biden's term. That's not a lot of time. I've been saying that I don't think Joe Biden is going to finish his term. I've been saying that I think Kamala Harris is going to be the president, and I didn't think it was going to be because she won an election. There's still time here. If Joe Biden's pardon of his son, Hunter Biden, that goes and starts in January of 2014, and it moves all the way through December 1st of 2024, 10 years, a little bit over 10 years. If that pardon covers everything that he might have done that had any sort of criminality towards it, and it includes anything that he was doing with his business dealings in Ukraine, maybe China included, all of these things were supposed to come back and benefit the big guy, which we know to be Joe Biden. Does that make Joe Biden safer? Or a lot of other legal scholars are out there saying right now that in lieu of this pardon, that somehow or another Hunter Biden can still be compelled to testify, and because of his pardon, he cannot invoke a Fifth Amendment right to not speak because he's already been pardoned for these crimes. So he couldn't be convicted of or charged and convicted of anything because he's already been given the get out of jail free, literally, card from his dad. So now maybe he can testify. But then other people are saying, what about state courts? It's a federal pardon. He could still be on the hook for state charges that could be levied against him. It's confusing. These are all very deep conversations that I think are very important to have here. And we can't just be like, Joe Biden lied, aghast. I can't believe. Of course you can believe it. It's the most predictable outcome here. The most sensible, predictable outcome is that A, a father pardons his son. Is that B, a known liar lied about not pardoning his son and then pardoned his son, and then he began to reaffirm himself as a serial liar. Joe Biden is the finger guns guy. You don't ever look at a finger guns guy and like really hold him at his word. That's how he got to where he is today. Yes, he's old. Yes, he's in Africa, Angola today. I don't know what did he have to squeeze in these 49 days in Angola? He doesn't have time for the American people. This is the most offensive part of this to me. Again, not surprising, not shocking, but yes, offensive. Another middle finger to the American people. If he wanted to do what he did yesterday and pardon his son, he should have done it to the American people's face. He should have called a press conference. He should have walked up to a podium. He should have done it. He's using the powers of the presidency, the executive office powers that were bestowed upon him by the American people in 2020 to pardon his son. There's no explaining that away without talking about the familial relationship between a father and a son. He does still answer to the American people. He is still elected by the American people. And he still needs to speak to the American people. He pardons his son, and then he goes to Africa. There is nothing about this that is about the American people. We decided last night, so we've been putting up Christmas decorations. Boy, like I said, I've lived a lot of life in the last week. I'll talk about some of that later on in the show. But one of the things we needed to do is get as much Christmas preparation done over this past week so that when we get back into the swing of things for another, I think, like 18 or 19 days before everybody's off for Christmas, that the more we get done in this past week, the more that I will actually, along with my husband, be able to enjoy the Christmas season because it's not all a big to-do list. And we got a lot done. And last night, we went to see Moana, had to check that box, 6 o'clock show of Moana, got home at about 8, house is decorated for Christmas, still tons of boxes and totes sitting everywhere, so that is still a work in progress. But I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to restart the holiday season. I want to restart the Harry Potter series because we watched it for the first time in the last year. Totally missed the Harry Potter, the big phase that everybody went through, and have been just culturally a pariah when anytime anybody references anything Harry Potter. But at the end of the first Harry Potter, I'm not spoiling it for you. I was the last person to see these movies. Everybody just calm down. At the end of the first Harry Potter, when the bad guy, he's got his weird two faces and everything, and he turns around, and Voldemort is talking, he said, there is no good and evil, there is only power. That's what godless people think. And this is my problem. I can't watch a Disney movie without either making some sort of Christian analogy or political analogy. I think that Ursula is Nancy Pelosi. I really do. That's absolutely the thought process when watching The Little Mermaid. I'm like, poor unfortunate souls, here, give me your voice and I will give you whatever you want. Or make you into a little squishy little ocean captive in her little cave basement. Scar, Democrat Party, 100%. He wants to take over the Pride Lands and make it for, he says, he's got the whole be prepared. He's telling them everything they need to do. The only way you're going to make it through is if you follow me and then I'll give you what you need. But you got to know I got to be your king. And they're like, okay. And then and then everything goes bad. But that movie ends well too, if you remember. I guess that makes Donald Trump Simba. I hadn't really thought it through. I'll have to think about that one a little bit more. So I'm watching Harry Potter. And listening to Voldemort say there is no good and evil, there is only power. If you're somebody who believes in good and evil, then you understand that statement even more because it's a hypocritical statement. Because this statement in and of itself, there is no good and evil, there is only power, is evil. And that's what we're watching. What do I need to do for power? How do I need to maintain power? That's what we're seeing right now. From Voldemort, obviously. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Hans von Spakovsky is going to talk to us about what does the pardon mean? Let's get the legal expert opinion on what we are seeing here. How big and broad is this pardon for Hunter Biden? Is it just for Hunter? Maybe more? Hans von Spakovsky, the Heritage Foundation. Lay it out for us next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. If you reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440, put yourself in the position to fix that big economic concern that you have, especially going into a new year. I know it's the beginning of December, but if you get this process going right now, come January, you're going to start 2025 off in an economically much better position, and it really starts with a phone call or a text message to Stewie of Stewart's American Mortgage. And here's what you're going to ask him about. The bagel loan. Why would you call a mortgage a breakfast food? A bagel. It's very simple. He calls it a bagel loan because bagels look like zeros and zero closing costs, zero fees. That's what you're going to be responsible for if you refinance your mortgage or get your new mortgage from Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. It doesn't cost you anything to go through the process. It's a no-brainer. Reach out to Stewie. Tell him Annie sent you. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226-715.
Been hearing so long about government mandates all these years. It's coming true unless something changes this year yet. Then maybe it could be stopped. If not, homeowners, if you need an air conditioner, if your air conditioner is old now, get the equipment that you can still get before they say you can't have it. Not to scare you, they scared you. I'm just saying the equipment we have right now, unbelievably better than what you have because your equipment's 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 years old. So if you're looking and if your system's that old or if people are saying it's old and you new, I'm not going to waste your time. But if you call me, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois, the easiest of numbers. All right. So it's not the easiest. I have forgotten the number, even as many times as I put it up. But 314-293-2600 or go to the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know that men across the country are getting their ED meds at TryrexMD.com and saving thousands of dollars? TryrexMD.com has FDA-approved ED meds and is now offering sample packs. Listen to what guys are saying about TryrexMD.com.
My partner thinks that I am a rock star.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is definitely much happier.
I walk a little taller when I'm using the product, knowing what the results are going to be.
Because it is effective, I say I'm on a second honeymoon.
It's literally life-changing.
Visit TryrexMD.com. Your consultation is free, there's no copays, no doctor office visits, and your shipping is always free. You can now access a 30-day sample pack at TryrexMD.com with generics, if appropriate. Visit TryrexMD.com right now to get your sample pack. That's TryrexMD.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
When the weather is the story is on 97.1. With live local updates and up-to-date forecasts from 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Your local source for what's important. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
We the people of the United States,
More perfect.
in order to form a more perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
Well, you know, the renowned journalist David Muir at ABC asking Joe Biden, will you rule out a pardon? And he says yes. The first thing he said is that he would honor the jury's and respect the jury's decision. This was in that gun charge. But he said that he would rule out a pardon. And now we know, not exactly true. I'm not surprised. I don't know if you're surprised, but what does this pardon mean? Let's talk to Hans about it. Hans, welcome back to the show on a Monday. It's going to throw my whole week off talking to you on Monday, but we're glad you were able to come talk to us today.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me today. This shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody. You know, there was no way. Joe Biden is so protective of his family that there was no way he was not going to give a pardon to his son. I mean, I was 100% sure of it. It was just a question of when it would happen. And in this case, he did it before the sentencing in either the gun case or the tax case in California so that he can claim that he was never actually a convicted felon because he got a pardon before he was actually sentenced.
Yeah, I was fighting with people on Twitter this weekend about whether or not Donald Trump was technically convicted or not because that sentencing is still looming out there. Hans, the other question, like you said, to me, never was a question as to whether or not it was going to happen. But I guess there's a lot of different details that can be included or excluded from any given pardon. What do you think about the broad nature with which Joe Biden penned this pardon for his son, Hunter Biden?
There was nothing excluded. I've heard people saying, well, this was to get him out of the tax case and the gun case. But no, this was for absolutely anything that he could be charged with starting in January of 2014 through the date of the pardon. So any other charges that could be brought against him, maybe lying to Congress, lying to investigators, violating the federal law, the Foreign Agent Registration Act, that require you to register if you're going to be representing a foreign government, a foreign entity, which he did, and lobbying members of the government, which he did. Those were charges he should have been indicted for, but weren't. And now that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking and reading a lot of what different legal minds were saying in the wake of this. Initially, it was, oh my gosh, there it is, the Joe Biden pardon of Hunter Biden. And then after that, you could tell people started to be able to read through the documents that were released. And they're like, this is a pretty big pardon. Is there precedence for a pardon, maybe from a family member or a 10-year span? Is this how pardons generally go towards the end of a president's term?
Well, usually a pardon is for the specific crime that somebody was convicted for and put in prison. It's unusual to have something that covers absolutely anything that somebody could possibly have done. So no, this is not the usual pardon language that you see. This is so broad that it not only protects Hunter Biden from anything further, but obviously it protects Joe Biden and his family because, in effect, this short circuits any further real investigations of the financial corruption of the Biden family. And by the way, people should read this statement. This statement released by the president is obnoxious and such a con job. He actually says in there that the charges in this case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me. Members of Congress can't instigate criminal charges. That's the Justice Department. That's Merrick Garland, his own Attorney General. That is such a misleading statement, and yet he puts it in his description of what happened.
Yeah, it really kind of, to me, it's just another page in the same chapter of Joe Biden's doing what he wants to do to consolidate power, to protect power, certainly to protect his family. But I felt like something of this nature probably the American people deserve to hear it from him. I felt like if Joe Biden was really confident in his decision and he felt like the American people, as somebody who is serving on behalf of the American people, the president still is elected by those American people, that he should have said something. He should have went to a podium or recorded something. To think that we haven't heard from him, I don't even know how long it's been since we've really heard from President Joe Biden. He pardons his son and then he hops off to Africa. It just seems like an affront to the American people who he is supposed to serve.
Well, it is an affront. Remember, not too long ago, he very publicly announced no one is above the law.
Yeah.
Well, he's now saying that his son is certainly above the law. Or again, if you go back to the statement, he tries to minimize the tax charges against his son, which his son pleaded guilty to, by saying, well, he was late in paying his taxes. Lots of people do that. he wasn't just late in paying his taxes. He filed false tax returns. False tax returns. He lied under oath in his tax returns and didn't pay $1.4 million in taxes. By the way, Biden says in his statement, well, this was all paid back with interest. Oh, yeah, it was all paid back in interest, but not by Joe Biden and not by Hunter Biden. It was paid by a Hollywood lawyer friend of Hunter Biden. So Hunter Biden never paid any of these taxes. His friends did it for him.
Yeah, the same guy who says no one is above the law, says that everybody should pay their fair share in taxes. This whole tax policy is about taxing the rich people of this country so that they do pay their fair share. And, Hunter Biden, and then his pardon of it, is the middle finger to both of those statements that he has used his power as the president against the American people. I'm wondering what you think about the timing of the pardon of Hunter, because we've heard him say many, many, many times, and Karine Jean-Pierre on his behalf has said many, many times that there's no pardon on the table for Hunter Biden. Yet yesterday, Sunday, December 1st, the pardon does come through. Kash Patel just appointed to the position to be confirmed as the FBI director. Do you think there's any connection there about the signals that Donald Trump has been sending with his cabinet about where he might be taking the Justice Department, the justice system in our country, and such a broad, open pardon for a 10-year span for Hunter Biden? Any possibility those things are related?
Oh, I think Joe Biden, his cronies, all the people inside the FBI and the DOJ who did everything they could to hinder, prevent, sidetrack these investigations must be quivering. They're afraid. Kash Patel has made it very clear he intends to clean up and reform the FBI, and that includes, the left keeps calling it revenge. No, you should not have the kind of people that exist in the FBI and the DOJ that the IRS whistleblowers described, who did everything they could to try to prevent the Hunter Biden investigation from going forward and succeeding. Those people should not have responsible positions inside law enforcement. And I think Joe Biden and others are afraid that their friends and cronies inside those agencies will no longer be there to protect them if Kash Patel gets confirmed as the head of the FBI.
Hans von Spakovsky, you've served as a DOJ lawyer. What do you think about that appointment and, the corruption that does seem to have existed for so much time, this bureaucracy that has been running the show behind the scenes, regardless of, when Donald Trump was the president, they were actively working against him, and then Joe Biden becomes the president, and they're actively working aggressively, bureaucratically on behalf of the Democrat Party that was in power. What do you think of Kash Patel? A lot of people say he's never been an FBI agent. He's not qualified. What do you need to be the FBI director?
He worked inside the Justice Department. The FBI is a subsidiary, a division of the Justice Department. And frankly, the fact that he's never been an agent, I think, is actually good. You know what that means? That means he's not an institutionalist. In other words, he's not somebody coming in saying, oh, I've got to protect the institution at all costs. Therefore, I can't make major changes. I can't fire the worst people because it'll look bad for the institution. That has been the problem with the current head of the FBI. They need somebody who is willing to go in and shake things up. And believe me, his experience, both working for the Justice Department and, frankly, working on Capitol Hill, is exactly the kind of experience that's needed for this.
Regarding the Hunter pardon, I've seen some legal minds talking about being compelled to testify, that if Hunter Biden were compelled to testify in hearings in the future, that he'd still be compelled to actually speak because he's been pardoned, that he can't waive his Fifth Amendment rights or whatever, or he couldn't invoke them. Do you know what I'm talking about here? Can you explain what is actually at the heart of the matter now that he has received this pardon, how he could be an asset or inaccessible, one or the other, to future investigations?
Yeah, if House committees continue to investigate the corruption of the Biden family, and he's called in for questioning under oath in front of a committee, he can't assert his Fifth Amendment right against speaking to prevent his criminal indictment for any matters that occurred during that time period. He has to answer. And if he doesn't answer, he can be held in contempt by Congress. And while the Garland Justice Department has refused to enforce contempt citations against liberals and others, I don't think that this Trump Justice Department will have any fear of enforcing a contempt citation against someone like Hunter Biden if he refuses to answer questions from Congress.
That's very interesting. Other people have suggested that he could potentially, it's a federal pardon, so it doesn't affect state charges. Do any of the things that he's been accused of so far up until this point really fall in your legal mind under potential problems for him regarding state charges that could be levied?
Not that I'm aware of. The only possibility of that is if, and I haven't heard of that had happened. Remember, he failed to file proper tax returns and pay federal taxes. I don't know if he had that same problem with any state taxes, but so far there's been no evidence of that. So that's the only state charges I could think of.
And then last question before we let you go. We're speaking with the senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Hans von Spakovsky. I've had this question myself, and I've seen it been discussed quite a bit. Is the future pardons that might exist with such a blanket covering of Hunter Biden's crimes, literal crimes, for a 10-year process, a lot of people are pivoting their eyes towards Donald Trump and what he might do for what we refer to as the J6ers, those people who have been imprisoned or had lawfare levied against them since that time. Do you think that Joe Biden's move here and the way that he went about this and the broad nature of this pardon, do you think it affects anything that might happen in the future with Donald Trump?
It should. Look, the reaction of the Justice Department was such an overreaction. They went after the protesters on January 6th as if they were terrorists. They weren't. Yeah, some of them, a very small number, engaged in what could be considered criminal trespassing in Congress. Criminal trespassing is a misdemeanor in most states. It's punished by 6 months, maybe up to a year in jail at the most. And yet these people were treated like terrorists. Many of them were put in jail for years, and I actually think the president should give serious concern to giving pardons and clemency to people who've been serving in jail, serving time in prison now for years, with sentences that are way more than and do not match the behavior that actually occurred on January 6th.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of people are agreeing with that sentiment today as well. Hans, again, thank you for some time on a Monday. We always love speaking with you, and with this issue, we wanted to get to some of those legal facts that you always provide us, so thank you for your time today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll talk to you again soon. The senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner, DOJ lawyer, Hans von Spakovsky. A lot that we went through there. Cash Patel, pardons, J6, good grief. There's a lot to be discussed and will continue to be. We're going to kind of get the flip side of the legalese part of that with Joe Concha up at 1:25. So stick around 40 minutes from now or so. Joe's going to come on the show with us, and we're going to get the political fallout opinion from Joe Concha. And, he talks a mile a minute, so it is well worth your investment of your time to hear what he thinks and what he's hearing. I've heard a lot of people also suggest that Joe Biden's actions in pardoning Hunter Biden is, once again, Joe Biden backstabbing the Democratic Party, want more of him sabotaging what type of credit that the Democrat Party might even have left. And let's see what Joe Concha has to say about that. He literally wrote a book on Joe Biden, and he studied him, and he knows exactly the type of person that Joe Biden is, and we'll hear what he has to think about this pardon at 1:25. At 1 o'clock, we're going to speak with Steve Moore, get an update on his thoughts on the cabinet appointments that Donald Trump has made since we last discussed with him, the people who he is putting in the economic position to right this ship once Donald Trump takes over in 49 days from today, January 20th. But when we come back, Ethan in for Wiggins America. It's Wiggins America with style, I think, is how Ethan likes to claim that it it is, and we'll see about that when we come in. He always brings it, and we will be excited to hear what he has to talk about coming up next. So Ethan in for Ryan Wiggins, who's got the day off. He'll be back tomorrow. Don't go away. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Annie Frey YouTube channel right now. Will Joe Biden finish his term? I've got some thoughts on this. We'll discuss that as well. Coming up, don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I think a lot of people at this time of year, of course, are thinking about gifts to give your kids. I want you to consider something that's a little out of the ordinary. I want you to think about your kids who don't have the ability probably to, or even the thought, the inclination, like, oh, I need a power of attorney for my health or for my finances or whatever it might be. You're not thinking that when you're in your late teens, your 20s. In your 30s, guys, you got to get into this. You got to start making these plans, even before that, honestly. Think about doing this for your children if they have what they need and, you know, they can't come up with anything that they want for Christmas. Reach out to Civia Law because they can help you with this. It's affordable, it's accessible, and it's going to make everybody's life a lot easier. You're going to breathe easier when you have these types of basic things in place. Also, for yourself, while you're going through this holiday season, and I know this is 100% the case for many people out here, it's an emotional time. You're thinking about those people who you've lost or maybe those people who in your life that are sick. It's Christmas is a happy time, right? Well, it can also be an emotionally opposite end of the spectrum time. Make sure that you do what you need to do to ease that burden on other people when you're no longer here. It's really that simple. Give yourself that gift. Give your kids that gift. They're not even going to know you're doing it. Go to civialaw.com, SIVIA, civialaw.com, and start talking about your trust. Start talking about your powers of attorney. Lay out, answer the questions, the ones you didn't even know you had to answer. Todd Civia will ask you those questions and make you have that peace of mind. That is a priceless gift. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. Call Todd Civia at Civia Law and schedule your appointment today. CiviaLaw.com.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Will Joe Biden finish his term? Yes or no? It's a simple question, but we want to know what your thoughts are on it. Why don't you jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the poll, then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. And we might read that comment on air later on in the show. The time right now is 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
Bees will buzz, kids will blow dandelion fuzz, and I'll be doing whatever snow does in summer.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
In my hand, my snow up against the burning
Follow
sand.
Annie on X
Probably
at
getting
Annie Frey Show.
And in summer, I'll finally see a summer breeze blow away a winter snow.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Well, it's Ethan for Wiggins today. Hi.
Hi.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know. It has been a little while. I guess, we had a holiday, and then...
You had a honeymoon.
I had a honeymoon. You brought a dog in. Where's Winnie, by the way? I thought that was going to become a daily thing now.
I mean, it can be.
The Annie Frey Show mascot.
It can be.
I mean, I have a lot of titles already, and I would happily become...
Uncle?
Yep, I would happily become...
You want to be the godfather?
Yes, I do want to be the dog father.
Would you?
Godfather.
What the heck? Will you pray for my dog?
Sure.
You're like the heir. The dog's going to you if something happens to me. You can be godfathers.
Okay.
Let's make it a thing.
I'm so
Ryan's not
honored.
here, so I can't ask him.
This is great. I'm so excited.
He can be the godmother.
You know, if you ever want to bring him in, he's welcome to hang out with me out in the producers
Be
area.
careful what you joke about.
I'm not joking. I'm being dead serious right now.
She's the easiest to take care of ever.
I bet.
She's a new puppy. If you missed it, Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, teeny tiny, adorable
little guy, so cute, so cute. And you brought him in, her in
yep.
on was that Wednesday? God,
yep.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, Wednesday.
It was a lifetime
so cute.
ago.
And the chat was not kidding. They were accurate when saying that watch out because she might get stolen. So cute. Okay, so today on Wiggins America, little Monday roundup here going on. It was a pretty active weekend in theaters. I know you mentioned that you went and saw Moana 2.
Yep.
How was it?
If you're a Moana fan, go see it and enjoy seeing Moana again.
Okay. It's actually funny. Like, so you mentioned I was on my honeymoon. We went to Maui, and there was like this. They talked on a couple of the different.
The place or the demigod?
Well, exactly.
Okay.
They talked about how there actually is some Hawaiian culture that is brought into Moana. So they mentioned that a couple of times. So it's kind of cool. Moana did super well this weekend, if you were wondering.
Got $100 from me.
Highest grossing Thanksgiving weekend ever at the box office, and it was led by Moana 2. Which grossed $221 million across North America since its Wednesday release. So Moana 2 did pretty well, and of course a couple of other movies that were out there. Well, the main one, I guess, would be Wicked. Has anyone had a chance to see Wicked yet?
No.
Well, I'm going to let you do your segment here because I was on the spectrum of going to the movies. It's harder. We're kind of getting into the place now where it's a little easier for us to go because our kids are old enough now that they can stay home and watch the kids. We can go not too far away, a couple hours, and be back home. I wanted to see Wicked at first.
So I actually had some intrigue with Wicked because I actually had one of my wife's cousins starred in Wicked on Broadway and played. What's the main guy lead's name? Figueroa, something like that. I'm not familiar.
He's the guy from Independence Day.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But he was the lead in Wicked on Broadway for a little while before COVID. So I kind of had some interest. The music sounds great, and then I started seeing some stuff pop up on Twitter about this media tour. And it's a lot of negative captions. This media tour is insufferable. It just shows how separated Hollywood is from just everyday Americans. And then I see this video.
This week, people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that and feeling power in that.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it, yeah.
That's really powerful. That's what I wanted.
It's so special. Ariana Grande awkwardly holds her finger.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it on a couple posts. I don't know how widespread, but I am in queer media, so that's my,
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm in queer media, so I'm aware that people are feeling very moved by this song from this movie.
I'm sick of phrases like they're finding their power in their space. Shut up.
What are we doing?
Just shut up. You like the movie? It made you feel powerful? Okay.
Here's the thing.
You're not any more powerful because of the movie. I'm just here to tell you that.
Don't let anybody take your power.
I kind of right. Almost it's same kind of thing though, for real. And I kind of feel bad. This is kind of a heyday when it comes to a Wiggins America segment. This is exactly what Ryan would have a field day with.
Yeah.
So, but if you look up on Twitter, just Wicked Media Tour, this is just one of a bunch of different videos. So then. I don't know if we talked. I think we talked about it on this segment. There's a girl on Twitter was really good at mocking Kamala Harris, and doing the drunk voice Kamala Harris, and I guess she's kind of widening her horizons because now she's mocking the Wicked Media Tour here.
We chose to do with the roles was something that
Ariana Grande
that should be studied.
Yeah. Where are you from?
On
Dayton, Ohio.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is that Ohio?
Did I say something wrong? It's been an honor to stand by
That's
Cynthia
in her nose.
during this hard
That's
time.
her nose ring.
Her battling cancer.
Oh no, I'm just bold.
I'm sorry. I'm a little hungry.
Oh, she's hungry. This is.
Oh no.
Fake,
No!
They
She
fake
knows
breastfeeds her
everything.
for those
She
just
even knows-
listening.
she understands the black experience. I don't think you understand. She's a chameleon. She's a shapeshifter. She knows more about being black than I would say even I do.
You need a potty. Okay, love you. I love you.
Nobody in all
Ready?
of my...
Girl, you know I hate that
That is so accurate.
It is way too accurate.
Why is the intersection of the Wicked press tour and the Kamala Harris campaign so broad?
It's way too close. It's way too
the
close.
same people.
It's so sad. And here's an even sadder part. Is it's, you know, there are some people out here that are trying to push this agenda like this media tour has been powerful. You know, I was curious what the media was even saying about this, because it feels like the election did something, right?
Yeah.
It said, okay, we're not about this anymore, but the media is still pushing it. Vogue says, this article title says, the Wicked press tour was ... a lot. Wait. I missed it already. I was, what are we doing? I mean, this article is talking about just the power that these two women showed and being able to show their emotions, about how impactful this movie was and how, you know, kids are being moved by this movie. And it is just so ridiculous that
we need some emotional stability re-injected into
Yes.
this country. Like, I understand the importance of addressing mental health. So I don't want to be so insensitive that I'm, you know, poo-pooing anybody who's having a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to get over the rough time, or you need to learn how to live with the rough time. If you
Right.
can't get over it, you need to learn how to live with that as part of who you are. And this repetitive concept of making the victimizing thing about you, the thing that is the most victimized, your biggest strength, that's not the healthy way to go about it.
Right.
You have strengths. That's not your weakness. Isn't your greatest strength. It's your weakness.
What I'm curious of is if these two actresses are actually like this in real life, or if this is just for show. Because, you know, we've seen Ariana Grande in a lot of stuff, and I think she's pretty funny, and she's obviously very talented.
Yeah.
But I've never seen her like this, where she's really building into this just powerful movement.
Is she
that
still acting?
Yeah, she's still doing stuff. Now this is it had been a little while, I think, since I had seen her anything. It had gone much more on the music side. But yeah, I thought we were kind of moving past this, and then we get this. It's like, well, Hollywood hasn't changed much, and I don't know if I see it changing much.
Well, maybe
more
there's a
anytime
market.
soon.
I mean, clearly there's a market for what they're throwing out there, and maybe they've just decided to go all in.
Solely in California.
If it's enough, it's enough.
I guess so.
People are seeing the movie like 8 million times. I don't know. I wanted to see it, but I'm honestly watching this press tour going, I don't really want to see any more of that.
Yeah, for real.
So, Steve Moore and Joe Concha next. Don't go away.
It's a good time to stay in and cuddle, but put me in summer.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Made multiple stops into STS Armory over the Thanksgiving break. Made a purchase, 20-gauge shotgun. Looking forward to getting that. I think that one of the important things to understand about STS Armory, while you can go in there and get your concealed firearm, which I have gotten from there, while you can go in there and maybe get your new hunting rifle, whatever it might be, you can also go in there and get a lot of other things, accessories, holsters, advice, help, tips, Katie and Jesse at STS Armory are the best on the east side of the river. They understand everything about what's going on in the state of Illinois. By the way, December 9th, put a pin on that in your calendar for that big court case that we're waiting to come down to see if that injunction ends up staying. And we're going to have Katie and Jesse to come in here because they are the experts when it comes to owning and operating safely, securely, and responsibly firearms in the state of Illinois. If you call them directly at 618-931-GUNS, you can talk to them about classes, accessories, FOID cards, everything. You can visit them online as well at sts-armory.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House says the president wasn't lying. Lisa Brady, Fox News, when he said for months he would not pardon his son Hunter. But over the weekend, White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says President Biden decided that politics had infected the gun and tax cases against Hunter Biden and that opponents were trying to break him to break the president.
Hunter has now been sober for many years, and this is a time when it is really appropriate to grant a clemency.
The pardon is nonspecific and covers more than a decade.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer spent years investigating the Biden family. He writes, quote, Joe Biden has lied from the start to finish about his family's corrupt influence peddling activities. President Biden and his family continue to do everything they can to avoid accountability. Democrats say Trump's picks in top justice roles show he is planning on targeting Hunter. The White House says even as Hunter's trials have finished, it doesn't seem that Biden's political opponents would let go of investigating him.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. President Biden is now in Angola, a long-awaited first presidential visit to sub-Saharan Africa. The trip aimed in part at countering China's influence in the region by highlighting a U.S.-backed railway project. A retired police detective is found dead after not showing up for the start of his federal civil rights trial today in Topeka, Kansas. Roger Golubsky was accused of terrorizing and demanding sexual favors from black women and teenagers in poor Kansas City neighborhoods, including a woman whose sons had been arrested.
Golubsky was white, 71 years old. The county prosecutor's office has been re-examining cases he worked on during his 35 years on the force. There's been a string of lawsuits and criminal investigations, including a separate sex trafficking case and the exoneration of a man convicted of double murder when he was 17.
Fox's Chris Foster, the defense attorney, has said the lawsuits inspired fabrication. There's no word yet on exactly how or when Golubsky died. America is listening to Fox News.
Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. The high only 30 degrees. Tonight, very cold, partly cloudy skies. 14 for the low. Tuesday, sunny and 32. Wednesday, sunny. It's going to be a couple of hours Wednesday afternoon where we warm up to close to 50 degrees. But here comes another cold front back to deep cold for this time of year, Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of
figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-296-3315. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-296-3315. 800-296-3315 or oxcarcare.com.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitamin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
The American Cancer Society calls upon Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society. Voices of Black Women is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other health conditions impact Black women. Go to voices.cancer.org.
The Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is happening now. Tune in to the Annie Frey Show live stream. Vote and be a part of the conversation by typing in Annie Frey on YouTube. Subscribe and leave a comment.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments, and we will then use that money to endow a new institution called the American Academy. Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge, and do it without adding a single dime to the federal debt. This institution will gather an entire universe of the highest quality educational content covering the full spectrum of human knowledge and skills, and make that material available to every American citizen online for free.
Oh my gosh, Donald Trump is just on fire. These are wild ideas, and yet they're really, really good ideas. Kind of wonder if that was in Project 2025. The left can't tell us because they didn't read it. Isn't it weird how Project 2025 was the boogeyman in the closet? I actually kind of think that it might turn out that the thoughts and policy suggestions of Project 2025 might end up being tame compared to what Donald Trump might do on his own.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're super scared of Project 2025, and they've been making that since, what, in the 80s, wasn't it?
There's always, the left does it too. You come up with a day one
a plan.
Concept.
All it is a plan. And it's like, here are some best practices that we would suggest. And they turned this thing into the boogeyman. But now they're like, uh-oh, Cash Patel. Uh-oh, Pete Hegseth. Uh-oh, Tulsi Gabbard. Uh-oh. So it's, like you were saying, a lot worse than what they expected it to be.
Yeah, and what happens next? I have no idea, because ideas like this from Donald Trump and whoever is helping him come up with this, they're going to go after these universities that, I mean, good grief, you want to talk about a money laundering system? Okay, here's the status of your tax dollars. They take your tax dollars from a state, from a federal level. Money comes out of your paycheck. So you're sitting at work right now with the Annie Frey show quietly in your earbud or whatever it might be, or you're driving to and from clients. You're sitting at home and you're working at home, or maybe you're putting Christmas decorations up, whatever it might be. If you've got a paycheck coming in, you've got tax dollars going out. Those tax dollars go to fund the university, the public education, the public university system. And then these universities indoctrinate your kids. How many of you, I'd be very curious to find out, how many of you had your children come back from Thanksgiving break this past week and you felt like they made a shift politically? I'd be kind of curious to know. This would be maybe an outlier of that experience, because Donald Trump just won re-election a couple weeks ago. It makes me feel like culture is maybe shifting quite a bit, but I think the last place to absorb that cultural shift, and the number one place that you would see a complete and total doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on no, we're not doing that here, would be in the university system. Why is it? Do you understand the scam that higher education is in America right now? The government scam that it is, where you can get a fully federally subsidized student loan that you can sign off on when you're an idiot 17-year-old or whatever, 18-year-old, and you're just ignorant because you haven't experienced life yet. When I was an RA, I was an RA at SIU for a year, and then I realized I don't want to live where I work and work where I live. It was a good experience. I had great residents. I enjoyed everything about it, except for I was just basically 24/7 on the job, which is part of the gig. When the student loan checks came in, the stuff that I saw my residents and people in that dormitory walking in with, it was Christmas. Every time those checks would come in, you'd see new Xboxes walking in the dorm, clothes, that people would be planning spring break trips. That money, you can apply for a lot more money than you need to pay tuition and books and living expenses. You can get money to live on, and that money was going to buy frivolous things. But you can sign that because, I mean, good grief, honestly, you don't really know. You've not done something like that at that point, which makes me want to go into high school education and reconfigure a lot of the things that we force our, like, okay, listen, is there a reason why my child needs to learn how to do proofs in geometry? You're married to a math teacher. Maybe, Brad, that you could, I don't think you can. I don't think you can convince me that my kid needs to know how to do proofs.
My wife would say, what are you planning on learning? Or what field are you planning to go in?
Yes.
And then whenever they answer, she'll either be like, well, yeah, you'll need it for X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Or no.
But
the only thing,
like, why is that a sophomore? I mean, my son takes advanced math, is a smart kid. But here's the thing. I took smart math when I was in school, and I'm very good at math. Proofs, they might have well have been in French. I did not know the beginning, the middle, or the end of what we were doing.
Man, my geometry teacher, whenever I took geometry, my geometry teacher told me that geometry is actually not a math class. It's a logic class, and it should be taught with logic because it teaches critical thinking skills.
So teach it at the end of your education in high school if you want to teach critical thinking in that way.
Absolutely.
Don't put it when the kids are like, I just want to know how to make it stop. Nobody likes proofs. Nobody does. And if you're going to be, I could see teaching proofs in like a communications class.
Yes.
Like, how do you prove something? You got to have some logical steps. It could be in a political communications class,
Probably
for heaven's sake.
There.
But our education system, like, I'm thinking, okay, Kurt, get off the chat. I love proofs. Kurt, tell me right now, what are you doing with them? What are you doing, Kurt, with your proofs that you like? How have you applied this to your life? Do you have like a proofs book like people have Sudoku? You've got proofs. Is it entertainment for you? Because it was the death of me in 1999, and now they've re-entered the house, and my son's like, I don't get this. I'm like, well, I don't either, and I don't think you need to learn it, which is really bad parenting. Just go to my husband and just be like, you do it. I'm not doing it. Go ask your teacher. I'm sorry. I have strong feelings about it, clearly. Kurt, I'm waiting to see. Joe says, someone come get Kurt. He's out of line. He said it got him. He got one promotion out of it. Well, I'm happy for you, Kurt. You're the one. Good for you, Kurt. Thanks for being here. I just think when you look at what we educate our kids, we've been doing the same thing for so long. When you're a freshman, you take civics. Maybe civics should be a little bit closer related to when you start voting. I don't know. Maybe you need to have like how to be a good citizen class when you're a junior or a senior, when people are turning 17 and 18 and you're about to put these freedoms that you do have and may want to protect and may have to give your life. Would it make a difference when you are 17, turning 18, to understand a little bit more about the draft?
I would think so.
To pay a little bit more attention to, hey, why does it matter that Joe Biden's like, take those U.S. missiles and shoot them at Russia? Would you care a little bit more at 18 about that than you would at 14 or 15 when you're like, how do I fill out this quiz? Hey, Bob, you got the answers to the quiz?
Yeah, no kidding.
When you're like, what's the draft? Which candidate wants to put women on the front lines and which candidate is saying women shouldn't be in combat? I think that makes a difference to me as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old female.
I think so, too. I think I'm going to make a lot of English majors mad. But when you get into math, and this is just from my experience as a high school substitute teacher, and I've taught in high school as well as a regular teacher. But when you get into those English classes that are like lit, but what they're teaching you isn't...
When you say lit, do you mean like super
literature.
Wild or literature?
Literature.
Okay. I didn't know if we were talking jargon or not.
They're not teaching the classics. They're these obscure, weird books that the literature teacher really likes.
Beowulf?
No, that's one of the classics, I would think.
I was in a bookstore Christmas shopping, and I saw it, and I shuddered at Beowulf.
Man.
My oldest daughter's with me. I'm like, look at these words. What are they?
What are they?
This is an English class. This is an English. It's Old English, maybe.
Yeah. But my point is you waste a lot of time on these obscure, weird books about obscure, weird topics, and they're like, tell me what the seagull represents. And it's like, that's a waste of time. Let's do some more nuts and bolts stuff. And like you were saying, maybe get more into civics. Let's have another civics class where we talk about the draft, what the draft means for you, how to be a good citizen, those sorts of things.
You've got X amount of time with a kid in high school. What are we going to leave on the cutting table, and what is going to make it through? We used to say, when we were growing up, Brad, it used to be like, did you take a class that told you how to balance a checkbook? Nobody's balancing a checkbook, except for maybe Frank or Kurt. Kurt balances checkbooks.
I love balancing checkbooks.
That's not true. There are people who balance checkbooks, but I'm telling you right now, I need to know if Ethan, tell us in the chat, if you have a checkbook, if you know where your checkbook is and the last time you wrote a check. People don't do that as much anymore. There are some who do, and this is where if Wiggins were here, he would advocate wholeheartedly about the importance of writing checks, and we argue every time about it. But with online banking, with mobile banking, you have instant access. You can check and balance things in that way. But are you learning that in school? Are you understanding, like, when you get a paycheck, do you know how to look at the pay stub and understand, why are you paying Social Security? Why are you paying, what is the Medicare line? What about health insurance? What happens if you don't have health insurance? Like, life skills, to me, it seems like, when you're talking about analytical literature and all that stuff, I think there's value in that. I think we need to encourage our kids to think creatively and to be willing to look at how somebody intended their words to be read and what they implied and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I'm looking at what we're not teaching our kids. We're not teaching our kids to be good citizens, to be self-sufficient, to be independent. And I don't think that the education system, broadly speaking, has changed in a really, really long time. We're talking like high school stuff here. Then you go into college. Colleges, universities should be employee factories and employer factories. They should be cranking out people who are getting jobs and creating jobs. And kids come out of these university systems now, and what do? They become ideologues, and they have no life experience to apply to the very, very ridiculous opinions that they've been force-fed by people who are relying on the system and the bureaucracy to stay exactly the way it is so that they can stay in their cushy positions in the university system. Going back to my initial point, when it comes to the financial structure of education in our country, to what Donald Trump was saying there at the beginning, we tell 17 and 18-year-olds, yeah, we'll give you however much money you need. Just sign here. You can file for bankruptcy, but for some reason, the education system is insulated from your inability to manage your funds, which is the greatest irony of them all, because your student loans don't go away when you file bankruptcy. It then becomes a tool for people to campaign on to say, we'll get rid of your student loans for you. You just got to give us your vote. You've got to support us, and we will financially support you. Yeah, you took this loan out from the American people. That hardworking person that we say should be coming out of university systems, instead of creating employers and employees, we're creating civic leeches. And the government gets to fully subsidize the maker of those civic leeches, the people who go through these university systems to become lobbyists or to become political activists, instead of accountants and nurses and teachers and lawyers and all of the things that you can come out of school, broadcasters. You can become something. You can make what you want to of yourself and then sustain yourself. And if your dream doesn't sustain your lifestyle, you've got to modify the dream. But not when the whole system is subsidized. If you take away the cycle of money that comes out of the American taxpayer into the government and is guaranteed to the university system, then there is never, ever, ever incentive for these university systems to lower the price to get an education, because the money is always there. It's the same thing with healthcare. It's the same thing that Obamacare did with healthcare. What Obamacare did is it forced you to have healthcare. It didn't help the person who was getting the healthcare. It guaranteed every healthcare company that they would have customers, mandatory customers. Why would the healthcare companies work for your best interest when the customer is guaranteed? Why would the university, the higher education system, ever work for the best of the student if the funding for that system is guaranteed? It's the anti-capitalistic way of going about it. And what Donald Trump is doing is he's pulling out the Jenga piece that makes the whole thing come crumbling down. You want to get an folks, you can get, don't tell my kids this yet because I need to have a bigger conversation with them. You can get an education to do things on YouTube. You can learn how to do things on YouTube right now. There should be benefits that a good college, a university can give to you that make you broader, more well-rounded in the way that you can contribute to an employer in the future. But if you're sending your kid to a political activist factory, find a different place to write that check or say, you can go there, but not on my dime. Donald Trump is coming back against this. If Donald Trump is capable of taking the Democrats down on November 5th like he did, and we're watching the leftist media fall apart, tear apart at the seams, if he can successfully reconfigure the way higher education is disseminated in this country, that's the trifecta. That's hope for the future. We need higher education. We need reformed higher education. We need smarter higher education, and it needs to be for the students. It needs to be for the people who want to be good, civic, self-sufficient American taxpayers. And I think Donald Trump's onto something here. When we come back, Joe Concha is going to weigh in on the ramifications of a Hunter Biden pardon. Joe Biden said, yeah, we'll give him 10 years, not in sentencing, in freedom from any crime that he could have committed from January 2014 all the way till December 1st, yesterday of this year. What does Joe Concha have to say about it? Well, we'll find out when we come back. Took away. So you can start over.
Don't let your heart be troubled. Don't be afraid.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Never sin, never disobeyed. I know you think there's no hope, no, but that ain't true. Jesus saved. I know you feeling regret, like I brought this all on myself.
AirComfortService.com. If you are looking for a gift for the hard-to-buy-for person, Air Comfort Service might have actually a solution for you. Annie, how do I go to an HVAC place to get a gift for somebody? With the holiday season being here, keep your home cozy and warm for family and friends this holiday season with a routine heating system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. You can also use this as a way to give a gift. When you heat your home safely and efficiently this winter, you can do so for as little as $19 per month with the Preferred Partner Plan, which includes 2 HVAC system checks a year, service, repair, and equipment discounts, priority service as well. And when you give the gift of the Preferred Partner Plan from Air Comfort Service Heating and Air Conditioning, you're going to be able to buy for that hard person on your list and someone who you might know that doesn't really take care of the maintenance of their home. If it's a kid, maybe if it's somebody who's older that you're helping take care of yourself, you can do this. You can make sure that they have that comfort of their home year round. It's something they don't have to think about. And for the hard to buy person, this might be exactly the gift that they need. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Call them, tell them Annie sent you. AirComfortService.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too. To help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Hello, this is Chad Klayman with KlaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as is condition. Did you just inherit a house and you're not sure what to do with it? Maybe it's got a lot of stuff in there and you're really not sure what to do with the stuff and how to sell the house. Well, we do a lot of work with people that inherited property. We're very familiar with the probate courts. So if you have a house you just inherited, please reach out today. We'd love to make you an offer and simplify your real estate situation. KLAMEN Group.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors. If you're younger than me, you may not have ever really experienced truly great customer service. You will with Triton Exteriors. We're a James Hardy siding company. We have a huge color selection. We do fences. We do pretty much everything on the exteriors. We have a great reputation. We have tons, 800 positive online reviews with Angie's List. Great with the BBB. Call 314-717-1159 or book online at triton-stl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon, the final live show before we hit Thanksgiving. Mike Elam will be hosting the Mark Reardon Show. Plenty of guests for you. Tony Kinnett, Tim Brinker, and much more. It all starts at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Oh, what you know, Joe?
I don't know nothing.
What you know, Joe?
Tell me something.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't conniving, just ain't jiving. I don't know.
What you know, Joe?
Well, I don't know Latin.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't I having?
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I ain't fooling.
Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
I don't know.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You know, the Kash Patel nomination for FBI director was the one that, in my opinion, was the most talked about and anticipated. in part just because of how it would incense the people on the other side of the aisle. We heard from Hans von Spakovsky at 12:25, and he was telling us about his thoughts as somebody who served as a DOJ lawyer. He understands the way things work over there, and he gave his opinions and thoughts on what it might mean for Kash Patel to become the FBI director. And Hans told us why he thought it was a great pick to pick someone who hasn't been a part of the FBI agency directly, even with Kash Patel's experience in the Justice Department. You can go back on the podcast and listen to that. We had him on it about 12:25, and we talked about Kash Patel along with the Hunter Biden pardon. When it comes to Kash Patel and how he and his appointment is affecting those people who are political detractors of Donald Trump, Annie McCabe is a very interesting way to look at this. How does Annie McCabe, who we saw he was the deputy director of the FBI, and oh gosh, insufferable. He leaves the FBI, and within like 10 minutes, he's over as a CNN contributor. And he gave it all out there for you on how he feels about the Kash Patel appointment.
Andrew, I just want to start first with you and just get your reaction to this news tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible development for the men and women of the FBI and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Kash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not even like a matter for debate. So I think what we should really be thinking about right now is, what does this signal in terms of Donald Trump's intent for the FBI? The installation, or the nomination, I guess we should say at this point, of Kash Patel as FBI director can only possibly be a plan to disrupt, to dismantle, to distract the FBI, and to possibly use it as a tool for the president's political agenda.
So Annie McCabe, former deputy FBI director on CNN, saying that Kash Patel's appointment is only there to dismantle and to disrupt the way the FBI is functioning. Brad, he's making the case for Kash Patel's appointment.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I want from Kash Patel. That's what I want from whoever Trump appoints to the FBI. I want him to go in there and change business as usual, because business as usual has been good for the DC elites, but not good for the American people. And that's who the FBI ultimately is supposed to serve, is the American people.
Completely. And the nervous nature with which, Andy McCabe is saying that it's not even up for discussion. I'm sir, by virtue of you being on CNN to have the discussion, it is up for discussion as to whether or not Kash Patel is qualified for that position. He goes on to CNN in his little mini meltdown.
And, as an organization, we know what that looks like. This country has been there before, right? The pre-Watergate FBI, the J. Edgar Hoover FBI, struck fear in the hearts of Americans across the spectrum of politicians, people in entertainment, people in the civil rights community, because the director operated at the direction of presidents to collect political intelligence and to utilize the legal authorities, the investigative authorities of the FBI to terrorize and intimidate Americans. So the question is that where we're going back to with this nomination? I would argue that Kash Patel would be the perfect person for Donald Trump to nominate if that's in fact his intent.
I don't think that you need to speculate on what Donald Trump's intent would be when it comes to our justice system. And it is a great irony of ironies to be talking about a weaponized justice system that Andy McCabe here is talking about how dangerous it would be when we are 24 hours, less than 24 hours away from Joe Biden basically saying that Hunter Biden was targeted and therefore earns the full pardon of a 10-year blanket. Anything that he did in that amount of time, whoop, gone. An amazing amount of grace that was extended to Hunter Biden on behalf of the powers of the presidency that Joe Biden currently enjoys. On FoxNews.com, Stephanie Price authors an article about the steps that Kash Patel should take to restore trust. She's a former special agent. she suggests several concrete steps that she thinks is going to help it regain the trust of all Americans. With that statement in and of itself, Brad, you've got Republicans and Democrats alike who are today showing great distrust in the justice system.
Yes.
They're saying what you can't argue with that. If Hunter Biden is being pardoned today because he was targeted,
right?
And then of course we know what we think about Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, nobody trusted, and it's not that Donald Trump came in here and said all these bad things about the Justice Department. It's not any of that. It's that the Justice Department, that the federal government on its own accord, out of its own accord, got in there and did things that have caused the people to distrust them. The people looked at the Donald Trump prosecutions and they said, this doesn't look like it's on the up and up. It just doesn't. And then you had the people that like Alvin Bragg and Letitia James, they were running on getting Donald Trump. And eventually people are like, that doesn't look like it's on the up and up. And then you have, on the flip side of that, Joe Biden, with documents in his garage by his Corvette, does an interview with the FBI, right? Or no, he was a special counsel, wasn't he?
He had a special counsel. Yeah,
the special counsel does the interview, and I'm like, yeah, he probably did something wrong.
Yeah, the one that resulted in him being a well-meaning old man.
Well-meaning elderly old man with a poor memory.
With a poor memory.
It just, like, they look at that and they say, this is a double standard. They look at Daniel Penny up in New York, which they're in, closing arguments today.
Yeah.
This man is being prosecuted for defending people on the subway, and they're going after him. And then they're like, Hunter Biden, we're just going to pardon him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a great offense to the American people. Stephanie writes in this that she says, over the last several years, the FBI became politically and socially weaponized. That must end. Those responsible for the Bureau's destruction must be held accountable with tangible consequences. President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday announced he intends to nominate Kash Patel to replace FBI Director Christopher Wray, who Trump nominated in 2017 during his first term. Isn't that funny? Christopher Wray is a Donald Trump appointee. Trump said, I'm proud to announce that Kash Patel will serve as the next director of the FBI. Kash is a brilliant lawyer, investigator, and America First fighter who has spent his career exposing corruption, defending justice, and protecting the American people. So what can be done in order to restore this type of trust that the American people want to have? I mean, there is a lot that is being levied against our government. I mean, especially with the RFK Jr. annexation of Donald Trump and this Republican Party. It's important to think about how far back this distrust in our investigative, our spy agencies, all of these types of bureaucratic goings on that we have known for decades in this country are suspect. You just have questions. Now, you're not going to know everything the CIA does. I think a lot of people want to know about what happened to JFK. People want to know more recently, they want to know about the Jeffrey Epstein story. They want to be made aware of this. And when you look at these different criminal cases, even more recently, that aren't directly related to like politicians who are in trouble, there are a lot of things that get handled a certain type of way, and it seems like it always breaks the way of the left. The investigative, the justice system is always, we're just going to let that sleeping dog lie. We're going to take care of it. And then at the end, they're like, trust us. And it's like, I just don't think we do anymore. Some of the suggestions that were made by this former special agent says the Office of Diversity and Inclusion must be reassessed, as anything other than law enforcement responsibilities is a dangerous distraction. That's the first thing she says. The fact that we have a military, that the majority of what we hear, at least on the home front about the military, is all of these different DEI initiatives that are being put in place. Ugh. Can we focus on killing bad guys and keeping America safe? Can we just focus on that? And the DEI community is like, they're bad people, not necessarily guys. All right, whatever. I call them all bad guys. It's a blanket statement. FBI headquarters must be trimmed down substantially, and agents need to be sent back to the field offices to fight crime. The FBI also needs to raise their hiring standards and hire only the best and brightest based on only meritocracy. Wouldn't it be nice to get back to that? Wouldn't it be nice to be like, we're the best of the best? We're not the best of the women who are available. We're not the best of the insert, religious affiliation here. We're not the best of the insert sexual inclination here. No, we're just the best. And if you end up having, a bunch of asexual female Mormons or whatever it might be that are all that's and they're the best of the best, then that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But also, if you have a bunch of white men, if you have a bunch of black women, whatever it is, who are the best for the job? Race doesn't matter. Sex doesn't matter. Religion doesn't matter. Sexual preference doesn't matter. Who's the best? You get the job. That's what America used to be about, didn't it? And it's really interesting to think back to, Brad, I think, we've talked about this before, but the rise of political correctness really happened kind of in our youth.
Yeah.
The 90s. You think about different words that we culturally were exposed to quite a lot. The R word. I don't like to say it. I'm not going to say it here. But, if you were to call something stupid, you'd call something the R word. In our lifetime, that became something that was used all the time to something that you just don't say.
Yeah.
It's now back.
It's back, and it's back bigger than it ever was.
It's back. It's like the middle finger to the PC culture.
Yes,
and I feel like our generation is using that word to get back at the PC culture because it was to me, it was the biggest, broadest thing that everybody said that all of a sudden you were never allowed to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it's the biggest middle finger. And the reason it's a middle finger is because people are tired of people policing what you say. It was never meant as anything other than like, that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It was never meant as a slight to people with mental handicaps or anything like that. It was just a phrase people used to say that's dumb.
Yeah.
And these woke scolds came in there and be like, oh, you can't use that. You're going to hurt people's feelings. And they changed what you actually call somebody with these mental disabilities. They changed it from retarded to...
Yeah, that's a medical
Yeah, it's a medical term.
diagnosis.
It's also a scientific term.
And a music term.
And they changed it to, well, it's special needs. Well, people being people used it as an insult, whatever the new word is. So it doesn't matter how many times they change language, and people are just done with it. Let it go. Stop being offended on behalf of other people.
I have people in my life who don't like that word because of personal relative situations that they have in their life. That's why I don't use the word.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with offending people who I don't know, who don't have the personal experience, and it's my choice. And I have a very specific reason to not use it. I'm also not going to police everybody else out there because it's not my job. Listen, if somebody says a word that you don't like, and there are a lot of words that people can say that are incredibly offensive that could offend you even though you're not the person who is being maybe slandered or whatever when the word is being used, you have the right to be offended, and they have the right to offend.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the First Amendment thrives, is in the uncomfortable margins, not in everybody saying everything that everybody agrees on. And we have to be able to say things that offend people and take the blowback of being willing to say, no, I'm going to use this word. And when I use this word, I know what's coming at me, and I have still chosen, with that knowledge, to use the word to make a statement. You are not free from being judged for the language you use, but it's also not a crime.
Right. And if freedom of speech doesn't cover the speech you don't like, then freedom of speech is not necessary. Nobody needs freedom of speech to say the thing that most people or everybody will agree with. It's the unpopular things to say that people need freedom of speech. And sometimes in saying the unpopular things, you uncover something that needs to be uncovered, and you start a discussion that needs to be had.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. I want to talk about this poll question when we come back. Brad and I will discuss this, and we'll read your comments as well. Will Joe Biden finish his term? There are 49 days left in it. Is he going to finish it? Let us know on the Annie Frey YouTube live broadcast right now. In the live chat portion, you find us on YouTube. Just type in Annie Frey Live, F-R-E-Y, and then you'll see when it pops up that there's a live chat. We would love for you to come join us and join that conversation. But you can just vote right there in the poll and tell us, yes, he's going to finish his term, or no, I don't think he is. We'll be right back.
You know, Joe.
I ain't fooling, I need school.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's Brady Cook, quarterback at Mizzou. I'm all for Macadoodle's Garden Prairie. We've got a world-class selection of fine wine, beer, and spirits. We've got a drive-thru, and we've got the friendliest customer service in town. Make sure you stop into Macadoodle's before every big game to stock up on bourbon, beer, and seltzer. While you're there, pick up a bottle or two from Macadoodle's world-class wine cellar. Macadoodle's is Missouri. Macadoodle's is fun. Come visit us on Bryan Road, just north of the Page Extension, St. Charles County.
CassinsCan.com. If you are looking for a vehicle this holiday season, make sure you give Cassins the opportunity to show you how they can, because when others can't, Cassins can. CassinsCan.com. If you're looking for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Wagoneer, or a great used vehicle as well, I've bought both new and used. Chrysler Pacifica that I bought from Cassins just in the last 2 days rolled over 100,000 miles. It was a proud moment. I love the cars that I've purchased for them. I love the relationship that I have with them that you can access exactly the same as I have with working with a salesperson who's willing to have that long drawn out sales process, where you're like, well, we're kind of thinking about maybe looking into a Wagoneer, or maybe we're looking at maybe going from the minivan down to a Jeep or something like that. You can talk to them about the thoughts and ideas that you have, or in the case of the Grand Cherokee that we drive right now, Jared hit a deer, and we ended up having to buy a car right away. They helped us in both instances, and both were great experiences. If you're looking for a great price, but the very best in customer service, Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer in Glen Carbon, Illinois, which is incredibly simple to get to, just a mile north on 159, right off 270. Go to Cassins, tell them Annie sent you, and enjoy the process. They can do everything you need right there at the dealership. Tell them Annie sent you. Go to CassinsCan.com.
Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with TrueHold, sell and stay leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to TrueHold while the value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay in your home as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And TrueHold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a TrueHold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993. That's 1-855-300-1993. Or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, we want to know, will Joe Biden finish his term? Yes or no? Jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the poll, leave us a comment, tell us why you voted the way you voted, and we might read that out later on the air. The time is 1:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Trump presidency is coming into focus. The updates are happening fast. 97.1 FM Talk. The vision and strategy for 2025 is here. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Trump has likened this to the case of the so-called January 6thers, the people who are imprisoned because of their role in January 6th. What do you think of that argument? And do you think that that's a fair parallel, that he believes he should?
Today I'm going to talk about the pardon. We've been very clear about January 6th. The president has been clear about that. He's spoken to that many times before. What we believe in this particular case is what is unprecedented is the way that his son was singled out.
Oh, what you know, Joe.
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Well, Joe, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. The news did not stop, though, while I was at least out for a week with the Hunter Biden pardon. Welcome back to the show. Want to know what you thought about the whole thing. You surprised?
Oh, well, first of all, happy Thanksgiving. It was a great Thanksgiving. I'm in New Jersey, so like half my relatives are liberal. And when we did the prayer around the table where everybody says something they're thankful for, I said, I'm just very thankful that Donald Trump survived those 2 assassination attempts so he could be our next president.
Didn't that go over okay?
And then a fork was thrown on my forehead, which I was able to duck, thankfully. So there you go.
Did you stand up and say fight after the fork came?
Shut up! That would have been good. But I wasn't hit, so it didn't have to equate the same thing.
True.
What do I think about it? I think that we now know, and you know my first book, right? Come on, man, the truth about Joe Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad presidency. In researching that book, going all the way back to his time in law school, the conclusion I came out of that book with is that Joe Biden is a pathological liar. Even more than your average politician, by far. And this whole thing, he's just a nice man just looking out for his son. No, that's not it either. He's not a good person. So I think that this just exposes the hypocrisy of Democrats. I think if I got to read or hear one more time the no one is above the law line that we're fed for the last 4 years during all this lawfare, nope, can't play that card anymore. So this plays right into Trump's hands. So when he starts to pardon people from January 6th, for example, that are serving these incredibly long jail sentences, even if they didn't, I'd say if you hit an officer, I still say you belong in jail, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you just walked into the building that day and now you're going to be in jail for the next couple of years, no, those people should not be in jail for that. So no one's going to be able to argue against Trump doing that because now they lost their moral high ground if they ever had it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. We're speaking with Joe Concha. His current book, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote, it's called Our Broken Elections. You can check that out. Great Christmas gift. I assume that many people are going to be sticking that under the Christmas tree this holiday season.
What is that? Is that my book?
Yes, absolutely. No. I read the wrong one. That's Hans von Spakovsky's. That's right. Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkey. I was going to say, the juxtaposition of where the Democratic Party is today, Progressively Worse, that is Joe Concha's book. When you think about that, what all the thought and effort you put into Progressively Worse, and you compare that with Joe Biden, and you look at here on December 2nd, the way that the Democrat Party is just in ruins. And some of them are not even willing to point at Kamala Harris and say she was a problem. Is the problem bigger than Kamala Harris? What do you make of where they are today?
The brand is broken, right? I mean, it didn't matter who the Democrats ran. They were going to lose this election because all they did was replace one old beaten up 71 Dodge Dart and just put a new coat of paint on it and pretended that it still wasn't a Dodge Dart. In other words, they have a spending problem in a big way that led to all the inflation that we just saw. They have a crime problem with all these DAs just allowing people who get arrested to go right back out into the street. That's driving people out of places like San Francisco and Chicago and New York to places like Tennessee and Texas and Florida. And then obviously the border, when you allow 12 to 15 million people into this country and hundreds of those people are on the terror watch list. I mean, listen to this stat. Under Donald Trump in his 4 years, 14 people on the terror watch list were apprehended at the border. Joe Biden, more than 400. Never good at math, but that's 40 times higher? I mean, it's insane. And when you see what happened on October 7th, that's something that's a real concern. And then they see these wars, we're going to give Ukraine another $800 million for weapons? That war's not going anywhere, all right? Russia's not going to be kicked out of Ukraine, and Ukraine isn't going to kick Russia out, and Russia's not going to be able to get to Kyiv and take over the country. So why do we keep funding this war? We see all these things, and Democrats are now the party of war, right? There's a party of woke, which is not where you want to be, and a party of the elites, coastal elites. You look at that Trump map, and it's all red in the country except for these little blue dots. You know, there's Los Angeles, there's San Francisco, and that's it. So, yeah, they're broken. I don't know what they do in 2028 because if Trump is successful, he gets prices down, whether it's gas, whether it's rent, whether it's groceries. He gets crime under control, at least as much as he can on a federal level, and secures the border. You tell me who they run, who's going to beat J.D. Vance, who, is a great candidate. We've seen he can do interviews anytime, a great debater. They're in real trouble. This could be a generational win.
I know, and so transformative. I've said this before, but for me, I'm 40 years old, so I was a Reagan baby. I would say many of the people who are my age, we were Reagan babies, but we're now Trump Republicans. They're different things, and the ability to watch government grow and grow and grow in our lifetimes. We came of age during September 11th. This is going to be a very, very stark fork in the road for people who are my age, who are looking a little bit forward to, retirement. We want to be able to live off of what we've saved. We want it to grow. Social Security, we're paying into it. We'd like to draw from it, I guess, someday. Donald Trump has a huge opportunity, but also responsibility to deliver on those things that he promised.
Absolutely. And then that starts with cutting spending, right? And then you see, okay, well, how's he going to do that? Oh, he's going to take Elon Musk, who never voted Republican before, and Vivek Ramaswamy, a billionaire businessman like himself, and they're going to go in, and Ramaswamy is saying, he wants to cut 75% of the federal government. And we know what Musk did with Twitter. He cut 80% of the staff, and it's never run better, and it's never had higher traffic. So I believe Trump, based on his actions and who he's appointing to places like Doj, that he just created for government accountability, I think that's awesome. So, yeah, if you could finally keep that promise, again, I don't see what Democrats run on in 2028. You want to try that abortion thing again and try the fear-mongering around that, because that didn't work. And then it was Trump's the threat to democracy. That didn't work. So what's their platform and who is their coalition? Because when I was analyzing this election beforehand with you plenty of times and on Fox, I kept saying the same thing over and over again, but it bears repeating. If they don't have rank-and-file union, they don't have the kind of black support they need, Latino support they need, and young voters, they're screwed. I don't know where it comes from then at that point. Who votes for a Democrat when you lost those four parts to the stool, right? Legs. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Joe Concha with us right now, Fox News contributor, author of Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. Brad, I'm
Annie,
yeah, what?
I'm just finishing my next book.
Well, you have another one coming out? Do you sleep?
No, not really. But this one wrote itself, trust me. I've been taking notes.
Can you tell us the name?
Ever since the beginning. The name is The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign, Unburdened by What Has Been.
That's a story in and of itself. Just the title tells so much. Brad, I'm going to get an extra minute from you here if that's okay. But Joe, when you've assessed this arc, you talked to us in your first book, or at least in the Joe Biden book, about who this man was that was destroying the country, and then you've seen how the Democrat Party has shifted so dramatically left. I mean, did those first two books, is that the reason why you get to write the third one? Is that all part of the natural arc of things?
See, you're never going to retire. You're just talking about retirement before. You're too good at this. That's a great question. By the way, you don't retire in radio?
No,
you just kind of expire?
No. Yeah, you were told, and I'm very, very well aware of that. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is true. Exactly. No, they've driven themselves to this point by forgetting who they were, the party for the working man and woman, right? And we talked about it. JFK was for tax cuts, and Jimmy Carter was pro-life, and Bill Clinton was for smaller government and balanced budgets, and Barack Obama was the deporter-in-chief. That was the label that he got from the left.
Yep.
They're not all those things anymore, so I don't know what they are, and who's their future? Did I see a story this weekend that AOC 2028? Oh, please do that.
Yeah.
You'll lose 400 electoral votes. I'm not joking. What's she going to do? You're going to go more to the left? That's your solution? Oh, please do that. For the love of God, I would pay to see that. Trust me.
Last question before we let you go, Joe. When Joe Biden pardons Hunter Biden, 10 years, blanket, get out of jail free card for anything that happened in those 10 years. Did he do that for Hunter Biden, or are there going to be more beneficiaries? And how is the Democrat Party going to feel about it?
Oh, I think there's a Jim Biden pardon that's coming next. I don't know what he did it for. One report that I saw was that Hunter Biden was threatening to write a book if he didn't get pardon, exposing everything about Joe. So he's like, oh, crap, I better do this. So who knows and who cares? We move on, and Trump just had the best month of his life. Yeah. That I do know.
Amen to that. Joe Concha, thank you so much. Sorry I got your book wrong before, but I'll say it one more time. Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. And I'm excited about the next one coming out. We'll make sure we start promoting that as soon as we can. Joe, thank you for the time today. It's good to have you.
Thanks, Eddie. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Always great to talk to Joe Concha here on the show. So much energy. And we had some phone problems with him in the first segment he was supposed to be in. So glad we could squeeze him in here now. I've heard that too, that Hunter Biden's like, I'm going to write a tell-all book.
I'm about it. I want to know everything.
Is he still going to? I don't know. He says he's like
he was making that documentary.
Wasn't he making the documentary when he showed up at the house?
Yeah, and he walked out. It was like
give
part of it.
the finger to the like. He had cameras all around him. Is Hunter the smartest or the dumbest person, or simultaneously the same thing?
Why not
I don't know.
both?
I don't know. Conniving? Yes. Great to talk to Joe Concha there on the Annie Frey Show. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Will Joe Biden finish his term? Yes or no? He's got 49 days left. Is he going to make it? We'll see. More of the Annie Frey Show in the 2 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
'Tis the season to give back at our annual Apache Village RV Toys for Tots Drive. Wear an ugly sweater and join us Saturday, December 7th in Hazelwood for Picks with Santa, chili, hot cocoa, cookies, and holiday savings on RVs by Jayco, Keystone Bontrager, and Fleetwood. First-time buyers, we have new RVs under $200 a month with only $100 down. Apache Village is a family business for over 40 years. Toys for Tots collected at both locations now through December 9th. Let us help you make lasting family memories. Go one better. Go Apache Village RV in Hazelwood and Wentzville.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A Trump warning about the Middle East. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President-elect Trump says if the hostages are not released before he's inaugurated in January, those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in U.S. history. This in a social media post hours after a U.S.-born Israeli hostage was confirmed dead in Gaza.
The Israeli military says Captain Omer Nutra was already dead when Hamas took him into Gaza on October 7th last year. The IDF says it's been able to confirm his death as a result of new intelligence. Captain Nutra was a 21-year-old soldier from New York, serving as a tank platoon commander in the 77th Battalion of the 7th Brigade. His body is still being held by Hamas.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Over the weekend, the militants released a propaganda video showing another Israeli-American hostage pleading with the president-elect and the Israeli prime minister to help free the remaining captives. Earlier, the president-elect calling it a miscarriage of justice for President Biden to pardon his son Hunter. Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington.
Months of denials a pardon was in the works for Hunter Biden were not untruthful, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says.
He wrestled with it this weekend, and he made a decision this weekend on how to move forward with this.
Jean-Pierre says the president believes raw politics infected the cases against his son, who was convicted of a gun crime and pleaded guilty to tax offenses following a special counsel investigation.
Jean-Pierre also said it didn't appear the president's political opponents would move on, but the unconditional pardon spanning a decade is drawing some bipartisan criticism. A judge says the gun charges will be terminated, but in the L.A. tax case, special counsel David Weiss says a motion to dismiss should be denied, calling claims there was an improper motive for those charges baseless. America is listening to Fox News.
Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected! Also, you forgot to renew your website domain and now you're in a bidding war!
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room and now everything smells weird!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. The high only 30 degrees. Tonight, very cold, partly cloudy skies. 14 for the low. Tuesday, sunny and 32. Wednesday, sunny. It's going to be a couple of hours Wednesday afternoon where we warm up to close to 50 degrees. But here comes another cold front, back to deep cold for this time of year, Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-296-3315. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-296-3315. 800-296-3315 or oxcarcare.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession. It's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too. To help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Valid offer for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
The Trump presidency is coming into focus. Keep it here for every twist and turn, because the updates are happening fast. 97.1 FM Talk. The vision and strategy for 2025 is here.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's good to be back. I hope that you are happy to be back at work or back in your routine. But I have to be honest, when Thanksgiving, air quotes, break gets over for me, I'm like, we're on Christmas break now, right? It just feels like that. Why is it that the things that you establish in your annual schedule as a child, they never leave? Your thought of like, oh, I get to mail it in for a certain amount of time. It's the holiday season. I mean, the teachers. Okay. Brad, let's talk about teachers.
Okay.
You and I both are married to teachers.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm not hanging my teacher out to dry on this. I'm not hanging Brad's wife out to dry on this. But we are now in the season, and teachers, they're in school right now. They can't hear us.
And if they can't, they're just proving your point.
Yeah. We know you have to go to work between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We know it's hard for you to focus. It's hard for us to focus too.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, Brad. Is there a special kind of stress that the teacher world, like, they do the same thing in May? Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh, I hope I just make it to May. Yeah, I hope I make it to retirement, which is when I will be able to not do something for a minute and not have to get up with an alarm. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying because, yeah.
I know the kids are snotty, and I know they're not focused. But that's what you do.
But I mean, that's just people.
Yes.
It's just people being people.
We work with Ryan and Ethan. Just kidding, Ethan.
Oh, Ethan's great. Ethan is that kid that you like in class. If you're a teacher listening right now, and
we got one of those.
Yeah.
And we got the other kind too.
Ethan is the kid you like in class, and Ryan's the kid that you tolerate and makes you laugh every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while. Most of the time, honestly. The one that frustrates you when he makes you
Yes.
laugh. Because you're trying to do something
I'm
serious.
trying to be serious here.
Yes. Aren't you all, everybody who's back at work right now, you're working today. You don't want to be at work. You don't want to deal with people. You don't. Terry, she's watching. Aren't you working? She's got prep now or something.
Yeah, she's doing math department chair stuff, so she
Yeah.
has no students.
I actually know another teacher who has a prep period right now too. So the chances of 100% of the spouses of the people currently in the room listening right now is pretty good.
Pretty good.
I just think it's funny how you get to the point where, like, the teachers, I just want you to know that when you're speaking about your frustration of having to deal with kids in this period, you're really speaking for all of us. You think that you're isolated in this, but we are all with you. None of us want to be working right now. And I got to be honest, I'm so grateful, again, in the midst of a Donald Trump win, that when I come to work, I get to talk about this because I did not know how I was going to do this job if Kamala Harris won. Do you know, I don't want to be working right now. I want to be on break watching movies and sitting next to decorated Christmas trees. Don't you? Everybody wants that right now.
Yes.
That's what you want. But you're an adult, so we all go to work and we all have to do the stuff. But I get to come talk about Donald Trump's appointments to his cabinet. I don't think I could have done it if Kamala Harris.
That'd have been rough.
You wouldn't even be listening right now because you wouldn't want to hear what I had to say about anything.
That would have been so bad because, yeah, I don't want to think about it. I want to be unburdened by what has been because just thinking about like who she would appoint to the cabinets, it wouldn't be the same people, but I don't know that they'd be any better doing the job than the people that Biden appointed to do the job.
Everybody's freaking out about like this appointment, that appointment, and Jack Posobiec specifically is like, can you please refresh my memory on Pete Buttigieg's qualifications to be transportation
100%.
secretary?
I saw somebody else say that I can't think of his name now. Comey wasn't FBI before he was named director.
Yeah, he wasn't an agent. Yeah, he was.
Like, so what? They're there to direct the thing.
Nobody cares.
No.
Nobody cares then. And the fun part is that while you are doing the work, we're doing the work. Like literal work. We're actually going to do work because we need paychecks to fund the overbloated federal government. That's going to get fixed too, which is why it's okay to, like, when I was thinking about coming to work today, I was like, gosh, there's so many things to talk about. And there were so many things that happened over Thanksgiving week that I'm like, I guess I need to just I missed that day. I just need to let that go and get to it when it becomes relevant again. It's very refreshing to be able to come in and want to talk about these things. So I feel very blessed and thankful this season of giving thanks. Is the Thanksgiving season over now? It's still the giving season, but is the Thanksgiving season over?
I don't know. I guess.
What'd you do? You got Thursday and Friday off.
I got Thursday and Friday off.
You did the Manny Frey show from Monday through Wednesday.
Did the Manny Frey show. And then Thursday Thursday we went over to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. And we, turkey stuff and the whole thing.
Is Thanksgiving for you, is it like a time where you, I don't know how else to say this because it's kind of the way it is for us, but you get together and you be lazy together and eat.
Yes.
It's not like a lot of things.
Yeah. So like, this is going to sound weird, but whenever we go to my parents' house, what we do is we sit around the kitchen table because they have a fairly large kitchen table and we talk. And it doesn't matter if we go in July or in November or during Christmas. We just sit around the table and talk. So we went there, we prepped the meal. I helped my mom and dad prep that meal. Everybody kind of all hands on deck. We helped prep that meal. We had the meal, and then we just sat around the kitchen table and talked with the football game on in the background. Nobody even paid any attention to it.
How big of a crowd?
Let's see, probably 12 people.
Yeah, I think that's probably close to standard. We had 16 at our house, and since my grandma passed away in 2020, not from COVID, she was 95, I believe, and she passed away from a heart attack. But to live 95 healthy years, and then one day God's like, I'm taking you home, and that's the way to go. And it still hits me every holiday season because my whole life for 30, how old was I in 2020? 36 years, all the holiday meals, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we'd go to her house and she'd cook pretty much the standard meal, and we would enjoy it in her way, the way she would prepare things. And when she passed away, that really means that, when the matriarch or the patriarch, when they're gone, you really have the opportunity to rearrange all of the furniture, however you choose to do it. Yeah. Okay, this is what you've always done, but the next thing that you do when you are forced to make that decision, you can do whatever you want. Maybe you always went to grandma's house for holidays, and now you want to travel. You want to go to, your timeshare and celebrate there. You want to do something completely different, brand new tradition. What we have done in our household is my husband and I have taken over the preparation of the meals. My husband's a great cook. I help him where is needed. I generally am doing more of the trimming and the shopping and stuff during that holiday season when Thanksgiving week happens, and the baking. But now my oldest daughter, she loves to bake. So I'm kind of like, what do I do? So I just end up being like the sous chef. If I need to contribute, I do. If I need to be out of the way, I do. But then my family comes over to our house. We had my parents and had siblings and nieces and nephews, and my husband's parents were able to come over as well. So it was great. We got to celebrate, and we got to just kind of chill and relax. But when I came in Wednesday, I was on the ascent near the peak of a terrible cold. And I had it the whole week I was out.
Oh, no.
Which I thought to myself, this sucks. But again, in the world of Trump, I want to be here. I was like, I'm glad this happened this week, and not when I would have. It's really a hard thing to measure. If I have a cold, you don't let me around somebody who's talking like this the whole time and sneezing and snotting into the microphone. And then the other question is, if you're the program director, you have to be like, would the listeners rather listen to a snotty Annie Frey, which, yes, I'm talking about something different than I normally am, or a fill-in? And there's a line there. There's a balance. And you got to be like, well, you're sick, but I'd still rather hear what you have to say, or, ew, gross, go away, stay home. And you don't get other people sick, as well. I think that these are all things that you have to go through. But with the Donald Trump world, when my phone goes off and I have a news alert and I'm on vacation, I want to read what that is. I was in Moana 2 yesterday, watching that. We saw the 6 o'clock movie. That's when the news came out. I don't know what kind of endorsement or non-endorsement is, but I was more interested in what Twitter was saying about the pardon than I was Moana 2. I liked it. I didn't love it. We had the whole family went. There are a few times where our whole family will go to the movies, maybe once a year. I'm glad we went. I don't regret going. But this is the thing. It cost my family $105 to go see Moana 2 yesterday.
That's outrageous.
I could think of other things I would have rather have done with that $105, but watching it with my 8-year-old and Molly, she was like literally on the edge of the seat the whole time, totally engaged the whole time.
Was this her first movie theater?
Oh, no.
No.
We went and saw Inside Out 2. That was a good movie. I don't know. I don't know how many she's gone, but the big Disney ones we'll go see. Okay. A lot of times, especially if it's a second in a series of things that we watch at home a lot. Mm-hmm. And they loved it. But I was like, it is a weird dichotomy to be like, Moana 2, Maui, you're welcome. And Hunter Biden just got pardoned. and like X, which is the Thunderdome of snark and quick response. So I was tweeting through all that. That was bad. I had the phone completely on dim. We were in the fancy theater, which is probably why it was $105. We had the recliner chairs and everything. And so I had the phone like all the way up to me. You can't see anybody behind you, which is my favorite thing about those theaters. I don't want to sit next to people. I don't want to know there are other people in the theater. And
the back.
I didn't get the tickets early enough. Oh. I will always buy the top row if I can. It was not available. So we were in maybe the second row, I think. F, whatever row F was. But the way that the theater is set up, we went to the one in Edwardsville. It's an AMC theater. The way it's set up, the back behind you is tall enough that you can't even see the people behind you, and you can't see the people in front of you. So you can see your neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
But we have 6 people, so we take up almost half a row. And so I had my phone super up close to me. Like, I couldn't even see the people in front of me, let alone whether they were on their phones. Had it on super dim. So was I being a bad movie neighbor? Maybe. But it was important to me. And if the movie would have drawn me in. I thought that the story was the music, and this is what everybody says, and I heard this before I went to see the movie, so I don't know if I had preconceived notions. I couldn't tell you the name of a single song that was in that movie, or sing a line. Like, nothing walked out of the theater with you where you're like, oh, we got to pull that up on Spotify and listen to it on the way home. But I think I'm going to watch it again when it comes out on streaming. I'm sure I'm going to watch it a million times again. I don't know. I really enjoy going to the theater. I don't enjoy being right next to people who are eating 3 tubs of popcorn the entire time. Loudly. No. So the nice theaters, I like to sit in that because you have some separation from folks. But when one of the things I'm most thankful for is a job that I can come into work and truly enjoy doing. And when you get to spend a week off, there's this one person. You got to be listening right now, because if I were off, you'd be yelling at me for being off. I know you're out there. Hi, thanks for listening all the time. But I got one person who's always razzing me for taking time off. My children are going to be young once. And when I take time off, 90% of the time, it's because my kids are off. And I'm spending that time with them, and I do not apologize for it.
No, I would take the time off. I don't take as much. I actually got in trouble.
Yeah, you did. Like, Brad,
you need to take more days off. And I have my reasons for not doing it, and it's just small things. But yeah, take the time off. If you are afforded that luxury, if your job situation allows you to do that, take advantage of it. It's an agreement between you and your employer that you have.
Yeah.
Now, if they start being like, hey, you need to start coming into work.
Yeah.
Okay. But as long as your employer's good with it, take some time off.
I'm afforded a certain amount of time, and I am not going to be at the end of my career and be like, gosh, I wish I would have worked more of those holiday weeks when I spent that time at home with my kids. That's never, ever, ever going to happen. And I love that time. I'll take some time off over Christmas break too. But I assure you that being able to finish a week of time away from this microphone and this seat and, you listening over 97.1 on the radio or on the Odyssey app or watching us on YouTube, when I get to come back and do this, I am so happy to be with you again and to talk about the things that are coming over the headlines and through the news cycle, to be able to come to you and have this conversation. I am so incredibly grateful for the opportunity to do this. Speaking with Joe Concha, as he said, you don't retire from radio. You get bounced. That will inevitably happen to me sometime. I hope it's forever and ever and ever away. But I am so grateful for the opportunity to have these 3 hours with you every day. We work so hard. I know you hear me talk about the YouTube a lot, but that's been the focus for the show, to be able to grow and develop a stronger relationship with you, to be able to have direct communication with the people. Like, generally speaking, when you're listening to radio, I'm very aware that the idea of just radio is probably a thing of a past, but I actually think that the rise of podcasts and the different ways that video social media can be integrated with radio. Podcasts are popular for a reason. Radio is essentially live podcasting. So if you're listening to the show right now and something happens, you're going to know about it first because you had the radio on. And that's a really strong, powerful, important thing. And when people talk about the future of radio, talk radio, I think, is so incredibly at the epicenter of what's right now. You can't really get anywhere else what you can get on talk radio. And I feel very, very grateful to be blessed with the amount of time that I've had here with 97.1, the amount of time I've been able to spend since 2018, noon to 3 on 97.1. I'm just so grateful for you. And when I was thanking God for things over this Thanksgiving week, certainly there are things that are the tip top of my priority list, but you are very, very close to the top. I am so thankful for you and grateful for the amount of growth we've been able to have on this show. Let's talk about the poll when we come back. Will Joe Biden finish his term? Yes or no? I kind of wondered out loud on X about what could possibly be coming with the Hunter Biden pardon. Could it mean that Joe Biden steps down? Are there more pardons to come that would maybe be quickly followed by a resignation? I don't know. Let's talk about it when we come back with your comments on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com, but they're also available in 3 different locations across the St. Louis area, St. Charles County, West County, and Dardenne Prairie. If you're looking to go touch, feel, walk on, experience, and learn about the next flooring purchase that you are likely going to make. If you're renovating your home, if you're renovating your office, Michael's Flooring Outlet is there to provide you both residential and commercial services to make sure that you get top quality products at a very affordable price. That's how you have a place like Michael's Flooring Outlet in business for like 3 decades here in St. Louis. When you're family owned and operated and you're shopping and supporting neighbors in this community, it's almost kind of like giving back when you make a purchase for yourself, a very smart one, with a quality product like the Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting with superior performance, with the Techwood Plus line of flooring that you can shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They are wonderful people. We are very proud to be partnered with them here on the Annie Frey Show. And for your next flooring purchase, shop Michael's Flooring Outlet either in store or online at igotfloored.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
It's officially the merry season, and St. Louis's Christmas station 102.5 KEZK is your home for holiday music. Spinning the biggest and best festive tracks all day long, now through Christmas Day. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Get your holiday fix on the radio at 102.5 FM. Ask your smart speaker to play 102.5 KEZK or listen on the go with the free Odyssey app.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, Call the Land Stewart firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Land Stewart Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Land Stewart Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk is online, and you can stream it on your phone anytime. Just download the Odyssey app, and 97.1 is one button away. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. This is The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Brad and myself holding down the fort. Ryan Wiggins is out of town for the day, but he's going to be back tomorrow if his plane lands here. So I'm going to personally charter a flight to go get Ryan Wiggins.
They can give him a private jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that dude's being demanding right now. His flight gets delayed or something. You know he's like, I'm gonna need to own this airport.
Yeah, he's out there. And they're like, sir, what can we do? And then they just give him what he wants. I don't know how he does it.
We'll see if he gets what he wants. I think what he wants is an extra day in Florida.
I mean, can you blame him?
In the Florida airport?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Once I have packed my bags to come home from a trip, get me home. I want to be home.
Yes.
But I also would be very willing to negotiate. We were watching Home Alone. It was on in the house this weekend while we were decorating. And the mom from Home Alone is negotiating with that old couple. She's like, here's my watch, here's my earrings, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. I was listening to that. I was in the kitchen, the TV was on in the living room, and I was like, I'd have taken that deal halfway through what she was willing to offer. I'd be like, yeah, let's go. I'll take it. Yeah. I can fly Friday. It'll be fine. I'm all for that. Like, okay, how are you going to make this worth my time? What do you consider to be worth my time?
We went on a mission trip to Eagle Pass, Texas, into Mexico. And while we were down there, our plane broke down. And they're like, well, we can get you on a later flight tonight, or we can put you up and we'll take the hotel. We just went on the hotel and we stayed an extra day, got to swim and
let
relax
us
and all
take
that fun.
Our 2 seats off of your priority list.
Yeah.
Give us the time.
Yep.
Yeah, completely. So we hope Ryan will be back tomorrow, but Brad and I in here right now, we'll be here until Ryan gets back for sure. The pardon of Hunter Biden yesterday has a lot of people talking about various things. We spoke with Hans von Spakovsky at 12:25 about the legal ramifications of what was done, and Hans was saying there's a broad level of pardon that comes with what Joe Biden afforded Hunter that could have implications on other potential crimes that maybe involve people other than Hunter Biden. So we will have to wait and see how more of this ends up unfolding. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked on Air Force One about the pardon.
Do you think this would have happened if Harris hadn't lost the election?
Look, I'm not gonna get into the election. It is a no. I can answer that. It is a no. And what I can say,
it's a no. This would not have happened if Harris hadn't lost the election. The pardon would not have happened if Harris hadn't lost the election.
To where we are today, and so I can't speak to hypotheticals here. Where we are today, the president made this decision over the weekend.
I don't know who asked that question. She should have asked, would Joe Biden have pardoned Hunter if Kamala would have won? There are a lot of loops in that question that she asked that made it kind of hard to understand, like, you're saying no to what, which is why she restated it multiple times. But obviously, the political climate factors into Joe Biden's willingness to pardon Hunter Biden right now. Hunter, if Kamala won, Joe Biden is still done in 49 days. It's just a different person in there. I've said the whole time, Joe Biden is obviously going to pardon Hunter Biden. I thought that was the case the whole time. The weird part was his constant insisting that he wouldn't do it. But again, that was a political climate where they were still trying to win a re-election. He'll say whatever he thinks he needs to say in order to get votes. And it was obviously not enough. He should have just been honest from the beginning, but that would have been something new for him. So the YouTube live chat poll, will Joe Biden finish his term, yes or no? If you've been listening to the show for any length of time, you know that I have said for a long time, Joe Biden would not be the nominee. And that ended up coming true. I also have on that Christmas tree right behind Brad, last Christmas, we wrote on ornaments, predictions that we had for 2024. And there are a lot of predictions on there that came true. Mine was that Joe Biden would not be the nominee. And I had that at the same time saying Kamala Harris would be the president. But I've said this whole time, I didn't think she was going to win the election.
Yeah.
I thought they'd lose the election. I also didn't think she'd be the nominee. That was something that kind of made my jaw drop. Like, if you went back and listened to me talking about what was going to happen in this past election, I said there's no way that the Democrats run Joe Biden on election day. He is not going to be the person. And then I pontificated on who I thought it would be. But I'm like, the only dumber person to run than Joe Biden was Kamala Harris. Well, I missed that prediction. But I still thought that she would be the president. And I thought that he would pardon Hunter. And then after that, be like, I'm out. Kamala Harris gets to be the president, the first female president. She gets to be 47, 45, 47, everything that Donald Trump has been saying for so long. I've been saying for years. They will upend that. So he'll be 45 and 48. Who cares? You're still the president, and Kamala Harris / the Democrats are not. I think that it's very possible that leading into Christmas, that Joe Biden offers more broad pardons. He could potentially pardon himself. And he could potentially step down. He could potentially be the person who does not finish out this term. So which I think will be an outlier, I haven't looked at any of the results so far. On the YouTube live chat poll, if you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, in the live chat, you can answer this question, will Joe Biden finish his term? I think I'm going to be in the minority. I don't know how big of a minority, but I still, even with 49 days left, think the answer is no, he's not going to finish his term. What do you think?
I'm with you on that. I think it's a no. And each day that goes by that he's still in office, it makes me go, oh, I might be wrong on that. But, talking about a Christmas vacation where he does, because I think Jim Biden is due for a pardon. I think Joe Concha said that
Unless Joe
earlier.
hates him.
Yeah. Or if Joe's decided Jim's going to be the fall guy. But I think that there's other members of his family that are going to get pardons. I think that he himself is going to get a pardon. And if he pardons himself, then he resigns. I think he pardons himself and then he resigns. And
that's obviously his last act.
Right. And I think that's right during Christmas, like in between Christmas and New Year's.
When you're not paying attention.
Yep.
And I'm on one of my vacations.
Yeah. That's where it fits, where you're out of office. Nobody's paying attention.
Everything big happens when I'm out of the office. I thought peace broke out in the Middle East for a minute there last week. You guys were covering it. I was listening I think it was either when we were coming in or I think it was the day before when I was going to the orthodontist with my son over at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics. And they're like, oh, there's Hezbollah and Israel have agreed to but I think that even since then, there have been some renege on that a bit.
Yeah, it's not a great peace deal. So, but yeah, I think Joe Biden pardons a bunch of people and then he resigns. So I'm actually changing my reason for why I don't think Joe Biden. I've always been Joe Biden is going to finish as the president. I'm changing my reason for why I think that is. I think he's actually going to resign before.
Would if Joe? Okay, so we have to ask ourselves, with just 49 days left, he can pardon whoever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like he would have to change his lifestyle. It's not like if he stayed for the remainder of it and did what he wants. It's not like all of a sudden, gosh, it's so weird not seeing Joe Biden talk to the press all the time. Like Donald Trump, when it was weird. I can think back to this when Donald Trump lost in 2020, and we had this November, December, 2 months, December, January, 2.5 months of, oh my gosh, he lost. And he was saying, I didn't lose. He didn't speak out to the public. Like, it was weird that he was, I guess, in essence, kind of the loser that kind of went quiet more than we were used to him in that amount of time. Joe Biden's not talking to anybody ever, especially not unmanaged.
No.
When he goes out and he addresses the American people, it's completely produced for him, and then he tries to get a passing grade on what he's supposed to do, and he always has the weird thing that he adds in there, and you're like, that was not in the script.
Yeah.
That was Joe Biden authentic. If he wanted to pardon himself, like, the reason you would resign is a little bit in shame. Does he even have shame?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't resign. Maybe he just pardons himself and everybody else and then finishes
and then he
out.
starts showing up to do press conferences.
Like, out of spite.
Yeah. Hey, guys, where you been? But the other thing I was going to say, and this is kind of an interesting thought process, if Joe Biden resigned and Kamala Harris had to become the president for like a week, is that another way to stick it to Kamala Harris?
Ooh, well, how what are you thinking on that? Because maybe, but I'm not.
What if Kamala Harris is sworn in for like 16 days? That's almost embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can't really.
You lost the election.
Yeah.
You are responsible for the resurgence, the massive, greatest political comeback in American history was via Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And you're like, Kamala, I'll let you drive the car for it's like when you get your permit and you're like, it's all yours, buddy. Let's drive. Let's take this for a spin around the grocery store parking lot.
Hey, good effort. Here's your participation trophy.
So Kamala Harris gets to be the first woman president because Joe Biden literally just hands it to her. She doesn't win it. There's a part of me that thinks that Joe Biden's like, you tweeted a gif about this yesterday, but like, you light the match, you throw it into the gasoline pile, and you just walk away smoking a cigarette. It kind of feels like what he's doing. I don't know if he knows he's doing it. I don't know if he's being managed to do that. I'm so interested in knowing who are the players, who are the Obama players that have been with their tentacles over everything since 2008. Who are the Obama players? Who are the Biden loyalists?
Yeah.
That are trying. Did he tweet out that he was endorsing Kamala Harris? Did anybody know he was going to do that after he tweeted out that he was not running in the race anymore?
Well, if anybody knew, and if that wasn't the plan from the beginning, the people that knew were Team Biden. They're like, yeah, let's do this.
How many of those people are there? And are they all accomplices?
How many are there, and how many does it take to actually throw a big, huge monkey wrench in the plan?
Because he's still got the power. And they needed Joe Biden. They needed him to do whatever they needed him to do, and he was willing to do it. That's how he became the president. So he became the president under his terms. He could actually leave the presidency under his own terms, throw it to Kamala Harris. Like, I'm going to think about this for a while, but I don't know that Kamala Harris would want to be the president for, like, the fill-in president while he's on vacation. And then she's the one who has to leave the office On January 20th?
She doesn't even,
You don't even get to move into the residence.
You just don't have enough time to do anything. You're like, I'm here, I'm the president, I'm in Joe Biden's White House.
Kind of want him to do it more now. I almost feel like it would be the match on the gasoline stash to blow the whole thing up on the way out. What is she gonna do? Probably start a war, bomb some people.
Gosh, could you imagine? But I mean, again, if she does that, that's the end of the Democrat Party, and it's again a final big middle finger to the Democrat Party that pushed him out.
And I think yes, I think he's miffed. But Jill,
oh man,
and I don't like her. You remember how much we saw Jill Biden?
Yes.
In the month leading up to his, it was June was the debate.
Mm-hmm.
Jill Biden was the thing.
Yes.
From debate until dropping out of the race. Jill was everywhere.
The picture of her on the plane preparing for the G8 or whatever that was. Like with the president's jacket on the desk behind her.
Yeah, what are you
on the
doing?
chair.
She got a month.
Yeah.
She can tell Kamala I was president for longer than you were. First female president, Jill Biden.
Jill Biden.
Oh, man. I'm kind of curious what y'all think about that. The poll is, will Joe Biden finish his term? Let's see here. I'm getting a lot of starred comments here. I think these are, let's see. Let me go to the bottom. Dirk said, I chose yes. No reason he shouldn't. Ender said, I've said it before, I'll say it again. President Biden isn't going anywhere. Of course he'll finish out his term. He or his handlers will set the whole thing ablaze on his way out. But yeah, I'm just thinking that like the way to set it ablaze is to be like, peace out. I'm done with this. I'm done with you people. Dale said, yes, he will finish. After what they did to him, he won't give her that honor. He has many more pardons to sign. I don't know. Let us know what you think. Annie Frey YouTube channel. Come vote. Leave a comment. We'll get to some more of these here before we wrap up the show. Ethan will come in and give us the results to this poll question. Will Joe Biden finish his term? Next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
TheDiamondShop.net. Have you visited them? Oh, this is the place to go this holiday season for your jewelry purchases. Teeny tiny budgets, huge budgets. The Diamond Shop is going to treat each and every one of you the same when you walk in the door with the utmost respect. Their goal is to make sure that you get something that you love, that you are so proud of and cannot wait to gift this holiday season. Right now in December, VIPs are going to get an extra 10% off all month. Make sure that you go online to thediamondshop.net, thediamondshop.net, and sign up to be a VIP. Just scroll to the bottom of the page. You can sign up there and save an extra 10% off all month. There is a 40% off all in-stock jewelry with that extra 10% for VIPs that is running through Christmas. 40% off all in-stock jewelry at the Diamond Shop. I was in there in mid-November, and they have beautiful, beautiful things for you to shop. I highly recommend pearls. They have beautiful multicolored pearls. They're so gorgeous. My standard set of white pearls that I got from the Diamond Shop, I love wearing them in the holiday season is when I get to take them out the most. If you're interested in purchasing jewelry this holiday season, visit the Diamond Shop in Clayton. Since 1910, they've been serving the people of St. Louis. Become their next customer. You'll be glad you did. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
he found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, will Joe Biden finish out his term? We want to know your answer. Two options, yes or no. So tell us why you voted the way you voted and leave us a comment. We might read it on air. Ethan's going to read the poll results here in just a second. So this is the last call. The time right now is 2:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. We get started here on the Mark Reardon Show, which is whole for the first time in a while. Ethan, Sue, Fred, me, all in the same room together. And we have a big story to cover, the Hunter Biden pardon. It all gets started after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm so glad to be back here talking to you guys. Thank you for being with us. This holiday season, if you're talking about politics with your friends and your family, we talked to Joe Concha at 1:45. He was talking about being around the Thanksgiving table. And when it came to him, he's like, I'm so glad that Trump survived the 2 assassination attempts.
He said they threw a fork at him.
I told him, that's your time. Stand up and be like, fight, fight, fight. You tried, but you didn't succeed.
Do you guys have any awkward interactions at Thanksgiving over politics or anything?
No, there's not really any major conflicts.
So in my immediate family, there's not. But I was with my wife's family for the first time, and there is a little bit of difference. But it's actually really funny because Grandma and Grandpa are liberals. Everyone else, or not, all the grandkids pretty much, I believe, are conservative. So it was actually super funny. Donald Trump posted on the morning of Thanksgiving and said, congratulations, or no, he said happy Thanksgiving, blah, 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 even to all of you crazy liberals out there or something.
That's such a that is so double-edged for Trump.
One of the grandkids goes, Grandma, Donald Trump gave you a shout-out, you specifically, in his Thanksgiving post today. And then he read it out loud. She goes, I'm taking you out of my will.
Oh.
It was so funny.
So they're playful with it.
It was playful.
Because they love the people more than they care about the politics.
And they had some conversation, and it wasn't like anyone was attacking anyone. And but it wasn't like it was like uncomfortable to be around, and there was a lot of laughter. It was really fun.
That's good.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't. For me, it's like everybody knows where I stand on things. If you know me well enough to be like sharing a holiday or a social setting, people know that I do this at least and what that means. And that either means that they listen or they intentionally don't.
Right.
And I don't ever bring it up It doesn't become a conflict for me. I don't want to say that I don't care if people don't agree with me, but I'm never going to prioritize that over the billion other things that you could be talking about at Thanksgiving dinner or whatever.
That's why, man, it was so sad seeing so many videos on Twitter or Instagram of, TV personalities or celebrities saying, if you are going to be around Trump supporters,
yes,
don't go. Befriend them. It's like, why? Like, it's so sad that that's where we are. And I know we've had this conversation 1,000 times, but it's so sad to where, and there's definitely people on both sides, I'm sure, that do that. But I've seen it publicly, at least on the opposing side, where people are saying, well, you cannot associate yourself with them. It's like, yeah, because that's going to bring us much more together as a country at the time of year literally meant for giving and being kind and loving others. And man, it's pretty ironic that they're saying, don't be around these people at a time where you're meant to be thankful for the things that you have.
For the things that are important.
Yeah.
And why is it that I'm trying to think of a time where, at least the political lean that I have, where we've ever been encouraged to isolate ourselves from one another.
Right.
Like ever. And that is the play for the American left. At least it has been this long. And obviously it's been rebuked in this last election. But the idea that you should divide. It's just easier to conquer that. And that's what the play has been politically for the Democrats. But it was a losing play. It didn't do the trick.
Yeah.
Try something else. I mean, don't, but try something else. It's sad to see it. But also, my encouragement to so many people out there right now who are navigating the holiday season and maybe having some of those conflicts amidst your family, just be happy. Just be happy. Don't be pushy. Care about the people in your family. The people who are on TV who are melting down, who are being paid money to deceive people, you can laugh at them all you want and share that on your socials or whatever. Like, go ham on those people.
Like the Wicked Media Tour.
Yeah. Those people are not financially suffering, but they're up there like boo-hooing because of what? It's like the perception of what reality is for them is not even an accurate perception.
Right.
I wanted to, well, gosh. I'm gonna breeze through this real quick because we might talk about this a little bit later this week. But the House COVID Committee released its final report after its 2-year investigation into COVID. The House COVID Committee, real quick here before Ethan gives us the results to today's YouTube poll. The major findings of the House COVID Committee: the NIH funded gain of function research at the Wuhan lab, so we funded it. Gain of function research. The Constitution can't be suspended in times of crisis. Yippee. COVID emerging from a lab leak is, quote, not a conspiracy theory. Newsflash. EcoHealth and Dr. Peter Daszak should never again receive taxpayer funds. Public health officials have lost the trust of the people. Trump's Operation Warp Speed was a success. The COVID response was, quote, rampant with fraud, waste, and abuse. And finally, the prescription cannot be worse than the disease. Lockdowns had horrific consequences.
Where did this come from?
I retweeted it. You can go to Annie Frey Show on X. Eric Daugherty tweeted it, and it has attached to it the point-by-point report. After action review of the COVID-19 pandemic, the lessons learned, and a path forward.
From the House COVID Committee?
The House COVID Committee.
Wow.
So good to see that was actually still being listened to. Now we wait and see what the next administration is going to do to ensure that we never run into that again.
YouTube live chat poll time?
Let's go.
Okay. 287 votes on, to make that 288. Thank you to that final voter. Will Joe Biden finish his term? I'm a little bit surprised that this one's as distant as it is.
Did you have a yes or a no on this for you?
I'm leaning towards no right now. I feel like that's the safer one, and until I'm proven wrong, I'm kind of like, okay, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. I wouldn't be against it. But 75% say yes, 25% say no. 288 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll.
A fourth of the people still think that with just 49 days left that Joe Biden won't complete his term. I'm one of them. It is the minority, but we'll see. Any more pardons on the horizon? We'll have it for you here on 97.1 FM Talk, as will the Mark Reardon Show, which is coming up next.
Gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and I live in the Fenton area, and I love that I have the largest locally owned sporting goods store right here where I live, Denny Dennis Sporting Goods. Their selection of hunting, fishing, firearms, and ammo is huge. Whether it's for you right now or for the outdoors person on your Christmas shopping list, check out Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Fenton. Their prices and customer service will not be beat. Denny Dennis, where family traditions begin. I even bought my daughter a fishing rod recently, and memories are made forever. Denny Dennis on Grabaway at the Merrimack River, Fenton, Missouri.
At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for this season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those